Good evening, everyone. We've all wonked across. I'm quite upset about it. Look at this. We've all gone across an angle, and I'm very furious. I hope you can put up with us being slightly to one side, everyone. Hope that's okay.
Bit skew whiff.
Yeah, well, it's that point of the wedding. Do you know what I mean? We're a couple of hours in. It's expected. I'd be upset if it wasn't skew whiff by now. I'm having problems with the cameras, so I'm just going to turn lots of things off to try and give my laptop a chance. There we go. We're back. Aha, we keep cutting out. I don't know if it's the same for everyone else, but it's going camera off, camera off, camera off for me. If it's just for me, that's
yeah, for me as well. But I mean, to be fair, it did that occasionally last time as well. I think it just drops out occasionally.
Yeah, it's going a bit too crazy. I've got a feeling I know what that might be. So if we do that, and we do that, and then we dial it right back to the bone, if you know what I mean, back to the simplicity. There we go. We're still skew if, but it's what it is. I could go in and fiddle for 20 minutes. It was absolutely fine until a second ago. But hello, everyone. Welcome to part 2 of our one-shot pig at a wedding. You can tell we're at a wedding because both I'm inaudible. Oh no!
Don't change that.
How about now? I'll turn myself up. Is that better? Is that better? Is that better? Is that better? Am I still inaudible?
You sound the same to us, so it must be an OBS thing you're changing.
Yeah. Oh man, how's that? Better? 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 Better?
It's just turned into noise now. You're not even saying
Better?
better.
Better?
Better.
And how is you?
Better? Can't buy a new microphone. Better? Hang on a sec. Oh, let me check one more thing. Let me just do one more thing, and then we'll...
Did you turn too much off?
Oh,
in trying to get the cameras working.
I tell what we can do. Let's go back to this thing and do this. Audio output device. Let's go that. Let's go microphone array on my headphone. How about that? Am I more audible now? Tell
You're
me.
You're less audible to us anyway.
Okay.
That is true.
So I think it might be OBS if we're hearing you fine on our end.
I'm just going to reset my sound.
Right, now you've gone completely silent, Luke.
Okay, that's good. Right, how about now? How about, right, can you guys speak as well, please? This is really slick start for once. I can't hear anything now. It's not recognising my headphones. That's the problem. Let's try that. Let's try that. Let's try that. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Oh, oh, hello. Something's gone well wonky. I have to reconnect, don't I? Let's try that. Okay. Aha.
Okay.
I've
got Luke.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah,
have a look.
Got you.
Yeah, I have you. We'll find out in a second if
am I heard on
Socks
chat? Socks, let me know. Can you hear me on chat on thing? We'll wait on Socks. What's she say? What are you doing? Still quiet? Then it's good. Let me reload.
She's reloading. She thought it might be her.
Okie dokie. Why don't you guys turn off your... Ewan's on mute. It's like you're sneezing, Ewan.
No, I was just turning up the volume on my phone.
Okay.
And you seem to be good.
I'm seem to be good. Okay, that's good. If I'm good, I'm good. Right, okay. I'll take a slip. Okay, well, I'm going to roll with it.
Yep, it sounds to me like you're okay now.
I feel quite loud, so let's turn myself down a little bit. I'm flashing on yellow. The
last I didn't like to say anything.
I like to keep you guys just a little bit quieter than me, just because, you know, it's important. Good evening if you're still there, but this is slicker than normal. Welcome to Boys and Baltic Star on Saturday night. It's our part 2 of our one-shot pig at a wedding. You can tell we're at a wedding because Sparrow and I are both in ties. Sparrow's gone the extra mile, but I think it's colder where you are now. I'm by my heater again, so I'm already struggling. Ewan's got lost and he's gone to Middle-earth for the evening.
I'm channeling
is that the One Ring as well?
Yeah. My inner Bilbo in in homage to my good friend and father of the bride, Bilbo Wellington Smythe.
Oh, Bilbo would love it.
Obviously.
Obviously, how did I forget that? Fantastic work. So a quick run round of who everyone is and who we've got. You can see their names, but I'll just introduce them a bit, and then we'll sort of go on with. I've found a new lease of life, Fids. I'll tell you that. Yes, if it is your first time, welcome. We don't always start so shoddily, so shonkily. It's because we're using Roll20 for the second time, and I'm not too used to it. So thank you for your patience. If it is your first time, you're very welcome to hang around for as long or as little as you want. Feel free to join in the chat like Fids is doing. We'll join in the chat as and when we've got the opportunity to. The usual shots posting that terrifying emoji, which always terrifies me when everyone posts it. But yeah, you're welcome to join in or to lurk or just hang out and enjoy what I hope will be an enjoyable wedding experience for you. If you're from England, it may be quite a recognisable event, how it's run. From another country, see it as maybe a cultural awakening to the joys of terrible drunken British wedding. The tie's already getting loosened. We have reached dinner, so I can do that. Okay. Who have we got? My name's Luke. I'm the Master of Ceremonies tonight. The game doesn't give a name for the GM, but I decided Master of Ceremonies was a good name. A very humble name, which fits me well.
It seems appropriate for a wedding.
I think you're definitely encouraged to heckle from the gallery. Absolutely. I've brought with me a very good friend of mine. This is Sir Francis, who is the pig at the wedding. Still remembering his run-in with Ewan last week, hence the expression. In the middle, sorry, in the middle is our brother from an American mother. It is it's a Sparrow. How are you doing tonight, Sparrow?
I'm good. I had my nap. Drinking some tea. I'm ready to pretend my heart is broken, and that I'm vindictive, which isn't
It's
too
real
far
to
from the
me,
truth,
damn it.
which isn't too far from the truth any given weekend. So
Oh, don't, mate, don't. People might find that in our points options I did bring back the cheer for Sparrow option in honour of Sparrow, so it's there if you need it. Who are you playing at this wedding, Sparrow? Who is your character?
Oh yes, I'm playing Tony, Tony Eustace, who is here, and it was revealed last session. Is nobody's really sure why he was invited, and his flaw is actually that he has a surprising number of exes at the wedding. It's not surprising to him, but it might be surprising to the other guests. He's here, ready for his revenge because Henry the groom ghosted him after a rather enjoyable evening, he thought. So he is an expert in close-up magic, show tunes, and dancing, and he is looking for an opportunity to show off his dancing skills. He's also the only American at the wedding, but it's fine.
I think it's why people are drawn to you. You're exotic.
Mm. The Boston accent, which is not his accent, it's up there. It's in the top 10, right? I don't think so.
It's in the top 10 or something.
It's definitely in the top 10 Massachusetts accents, yeah.
I want to clarify that I'm not from Massachusetts. I'm from Maine. My accent is far superior to that.
See, welcome to the accent stream. Is that one of our tags for tonight? Accents? I don't think it is, unfortunately. No. Speaking of accents, the man with the poshest accent in any room, the smartest man in any room, whose room, in fact, is the Twin Peaks dream sequence. The man whose beard is with us for just one more week before becoming a soul patch for the next year. It's
never going to happen.
It's Ben. How you doing, Ben? Under the bunting.
I'm well, thank you. Yeah. I'm slightly worried I'm going to get decapitated by the bunting, but it's a risk I'm willing to take.
Just don't stand up too quickly. You'll be all right.
Yeah, it's fine. Don't do anything quickly.
How about your character? How is your character with quick thinking and quick acting? Who are you playing?
My character's name is John Blandings, and he has been mightily wronged by the groom in a test of physical prowess on the badminton court when the groom cheated. But he is a master of disguise, though somewhat held back by his obsession with the chief bridesmaid.
Yes. It seems relatively unrequited so far, though.
Yeah, there's been a bit of mooning about, and that's about all.
It's adorable.
It was.
He's like really single-minded and focused in revenge until she walks around the corner. He's like drops over. "Whoa." Bless him, good old John. And the third guest at the wedding, the man who is caught between the strongest arms in the game, right behind him on the wall. Wouldn't you feel safe in those arms? Yeah, it is, of course, the one and only person that we can stand for. It's a non-stand channel, except when it comes to this man. It is Ewan. Ewan, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Luke. I'm good.
That's good.
Raring to go.
That's what I'd love to hear. I'm very excited. I love you come in fancy dress. In homage to your character's friend. But who is your character?
My character is Graham Penn, used car salesman, obviously, and good friend of father to the bride, Bilbo Wellington Smythe, who said that his daughter would help my used car business out that wasn't doing so well because she is is it Instagram? She's an Instagram influencer.
She is.
And she turned my business into a bit of a laughing stock. So I'm here for some revenge, some pig-themed revenge.
I want to know more about this laughing stock this tonight. I feel it's very important stories.
Yeah, just ask Total Fire. Just ask them. I'm sure they know. Anyway, his expertise is heavy lifting. And his flaw is that he's really clumsy and tries to move unstable loads, which was a pretty good pairing, I think, for some random dice rolls.
Strong, but like clumsy and overconfident. It feels.
Pretty much.
Wow. That's good. Then there are three heroes, ladies and gentlemen. A round of applause for John Blandings, Graham Penn, and Tony Hustis. But why are they our heroes? Why do we care about these three random men in the English countryside? Well, you see, dear friends, they were all wronged by either the bride or groom at the wedding they are attending. Pig at a wedding is a short game, theoretically, but we make all games long. About people who attend a wedding or gatecrash a wedding. They got their invitations, and their aim is to ruin the wedding for their enemies, their sworn enemies, by releasing a pig. That is the main point of the game. It's not a very complicated game. You'll notice, the viewers, that there'll be times when we'll be rolling dice. It's quite rare. It's basically just to see, every now and again, if they're sort of a bit prone to, if they do something that sort of plays to their weakness, they might be prone to giving away the game a little bit to other people around. Or they might be taking a chance and actually be pushing the story more towards the pig getting released. Basically, the pig's on its own story arc. Think of the pig like the hobbits, and these guys are like the others, sort of battling their way and doing all the big stuff, whereas sneakily the pig is making its way closer to Mordor, i.e. the head table, and to be released on the unsuspecting bride and groom. That is the game. It's well easy to pick up. Just, you don't need to know the rules, dear viewers. These guys do, and they do, so it's okay. The story so far, and then I'll turn it over to them. Basically, there's a scheme track, by the way, and a pig suspicion track. You'll see. They want the scheme track to be high, and at certain points, I'll allow it to trigger the next stage of their plan. And the pig's suspicion track, they want to be low. If that gets high, guests will start becoming suspicious at different points, if that makes sense to everyone. So, but in order for the top one to get high, they have to risk the bottom one going up. So it's just the way it rolls. So I was enjoying the train there. So, dear guests and dear viewers, this evening, as with last week, we're celebrating the wedding of Henry Merriweather to Hermione Wellington Smythe, who is now Hermione Merriweather Wellington Smythe, or Hermione Wellington Smythe Merriweather. I can't remember which. One of the two.
I feel it's definitely the second one, or at least that's the way I've got it written down.
Wellington Smythe Merriweather.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, she's gone for the triple barrel. She's a big fan. They got married at the local church in the classically English village of Middle Farningshire upon Whittle. Whittle, of course, being a much-loved local river. They were married at the parish church in Middle Farningshire upon Whittle by the Reverend Wilf Huckleton. That's Wilf Huckleton.
You did it on purpose.
I really didn't until I said it for the first time out loud. I was like, oh no. I say that every time. Too late now. I said it once. You can't. That's canon, right? Once you've said it, it's canon. So, it was a lovely wedding. Albie said, the three of these were sat at the back. It went on a little bit long, I think we decided. A little bit boring at points. There wasn't good entertainment while they were signing the register. So Sparrow's character, Tony, was handing out booze, illicit booze,
in the cab
to his new friends. Yeah, exactly, on the way back.
Pre-game.
Exactly, a bit of a pre-game drink is. They were on the first cab back. The cabs were put on very generously by the bride and groom's parents, more likely. Drove up through the village to the lovely stately home. The stately home that was Whittle Hall, which is a grand and historical stately home where the reception was. And I've got a little new picture now I can load out for that of the grounds, which we didn't have last week. It's not very detailed, but I hope it gives people an idea, especially if you're on a big screen. They drove up the drive to see Whittle Hall in front of them and the marquee to the side where the wedding was taking place. But they were given free roam to wander around, which they did a bit. And they sort of got a scope of the ideas. Henry and Hermione, as we already know about Hermione, she's an Instagram influencer and a guinea pig breeder who loves luncheons and fame, but doesn't like mess. So I'm a bit worried about her, a bit concerned for the future. Henry is a city stock trader. He's 34. He loves rugby and hunting, hopefully not at the same time. Dislikes swimming. Don't know why. All I know is he dislikes swimming. We know from Ewan, of course, and from Graham's friend, that the bride's parents are Bilbo and Corrine Wellington Smythe. They seemed nice, I thought. They seemed all right, from what I could tell.
Good people.
Good people. Well, it depends what the estranged sister might have something different to say about that.
That's true.
I mean, they raised Hermione. How good can they be?
Tony! Wow, straight in.
Well, I'm in a mood.
You've had your few drinks in. The main wasn't as tasty as you hoped it'd be. It's all gone wrong. The groom's parents are Clark Merriweather and Maggie Merriweather. They were quite stoic. They didn't seem to be particularly friendly, but friendly enough, I guess. They're probably just thinking of all the stress they're going through. The best man was reckless Ronnie Reinhardt, thanks to Fids. With the ushers, Nicholas Thresher and Jack Windsor Lane. They're all rugby friends of Henry's from the city and at university. They seem a sort. I think we made a lot of early thoughts about reckless Ronnie, but he did calm Henry down when Henry got a bit mardy last week. So maybe there's something to him. Who knows? The head bridesmaid is Debbie Clough, whose nickname I can't remember now. Socks had one for her. That which is John's unrequited love object and interest. Debbie Clough. How does she make you feel, John?
It's hard to describe, but there are like balcony scenes and light breaking through windows in my mind. It's that kind of feeling.
Your heart must be in knots every time you look at her laughing from the top table and not paying you no heed.
It's been a struggle. I'll be honest. It's been a struggle, but she will be mine.
Oh yes.
She will be mine.
The other bridesmaids are Mary Ann Drywall, who I think would quite like being yours, and the younger sister of the bride, Camilla Wellington Smythe, who we don't know too much about. She just seems quite young, really. We know the priest, of course, who sat at your table, and we can look at the tables as they stand. Let's load that. There was the marquee, inside the marquee. Of course, our dear friends were sat at table 7. In my mind, the best table to be sat at any wedding. You're sort of left alone to your own nonsense. They're sat there with the priest and the photographer, Jenny Carmichael, who it was who was it that it was Ewan. It was Ewan's character, wasn't it, Ewan? It was Graham, who had asked for some cable ties, which she was going to go and fetch from
Yes,
her car.
it was indeed.
Yes, when she needs them, so that's good. And also the estranged sister, Deanna Smythe, who seems like she would not be disappointed if things went slightly wrongly for her half sister. I think
Sibling rivalry being what it is.
I think so. You also had table mates there, of course. William Weston Wingback. Easy for me to say. That's why I'm not drinking tonight, purely for that name. And Carlotta Dabadoo. They're sat at the table. They're enjoying their meal. I think there was a mixture of trout and chicken and pork on the table, but I think it was agreed that the trout went down rather splendidly. The most important character so far, of course, is Sir Francis, who is a rather large pig who was delivered by Farmer Cliff. Sir Francis, I keep saying Sir Francis is a sow, of course, a female pig. What we know about Lady Sir Francis is that she is hidden in the little coal shed to the south of Whittle Hall as we look at it, just around the corner. Went in okay. A very curious pig. We know the pig has 2 main characteristics, and we know that she's curious. There's another thing about it we don't know yet, but she was definitely very interested in the surroundings. At the wedding, people got a little bit suspicious at one point, not too much. But I think someone heard a little bit of banging from the shed. But that's all. Nothing that has upset anyone at any point.
Won't be the last time they hear some banging from the shed.
Oh, Tony! Oh. Yes, Tony, get in. Get in, come on.
It's a stately home. You can't do it inside.
Although one door is open to the stately home, which is around the back of it, to the right-hand side as we're looking, which is where the servers are coming and going, bringing food to the marquee. That is kind of where we left it. The mains had been served, and we were back at table 7, the last table to receive their food, of course, who've just received their dessert menus. Table 5 is receiving their desserts. And the menus shown to you are showing a classic banoffee pie, or a trifle. We love a bit of trifle. Or an Eton mess. They're the 3 main desserts. Quite sweet desserts for very sweet people.
Not us, you mean? We're bitter. That's why we pinch the pig.
Tony leans over to Ben, what's your character's name? John?
John, yeah.
John Blanding. And he's like, all right, I know we've been here a couple of years. I have no idea what the first and the third one are. Can you remind me?
Sure. A banoffee pie is like, try to imagine bananas that hate you and want you to die. And and Eton mess is, are you familiar with meringue?
Yes.
Okay. So imagine basically you took a large piece of meringue and then dropped it off a tall building until it shattered into 1,000 pieces,
Mhm.
and then in order to cover up your mistake, you covered it in fruit
You put the fruit on top.
and mixed in with it and basically stirred around. So you try and make it look like it was on purpose.
But crispy meringue.
Yes.
Gross.
Yeah, with a bit of cream.
I'm having the trifle.
I feel it is a cream-based selection of puddings. There's whipped cream pretty much all over the place. In fact, Graham will say that to the server or to the table as he reads through the menu.
The server sort of smiles somewhat and says, "We don't make it. I'd agree. There's a lot of cream back there. It's horrific."
I mean, I'm tempted to go with the trifle purely for the comedy value, so I think that's what I'm going to do.
Very good, very good. Trifle.
Oh my god! Yep.
And for you, sir, looking at Graham.
I'll have the banoffee, please.
Oh, banoffee. Very good, very good. Very good. Okay, great. We'll go and get those, and we'll be back shortly. Thank you. The rest of the table are pretty split, to be honest. There's nothing really stands out. Everyone sort of pretty much picks one of each.
Well, there's no accounting for taste.
Exactly. Oh, truffle. Oh, right, I see what you mean. That's just our accents.
Yeah, we're about to discover, of course, whether or not the pig is dyslexic. Because if so,
It's
those
coming
with
straight in.
trifle could be in trouble.
It's
I
coming
think
in.
the trifle could be in trouble anyway. I mean, it's cake and cream, so.
Yes.
So the service slot, they head off to get a new sort of C table 5
Mhm.
finishing up, and then the next lot of servers come through and start providing for table 6. Dessert comes a lot quicker because they're clearly literally just in the back area and being brought through. So desserts come for 6, and then indeed the desserts come for you guys, and then they start clearing away table 2 and 3 because they're finishing up.
Has John gone off to ride on the pig yet?
No, I'm going to disappear as soon as we finish trifle, I think.
Ah, okay.
I'm thinking that during the actual meal, absences might be more noticed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's not the same way at an American wedding. Like everything's so long and drawn out, people wander off all the time.
Ah, yes. Yes, I think technically that's called divorce, though, isn't it?
Maybe. You don't have to get divorced just because somebody left.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
It's not a
Yes.
Prerequisite.
Okay.
thing.
So yes, I will shotgun my trifle,
Mhm.
and
That
then
means something very different in England than to America. Very messy.
and then sort of gently clear my throat, stand from the table, once again indicate that I'm going to take a stroll for a quick cigarette, and
Hey, the Maharishi. The Maharishi. Thank you. Yes, do. I do love wedding stories. Definitely.
Always good value.
Thank you for joining us with the chat. Thank you. Sorry,
but
yes.
but yes, so I shall throw myself out the back. I will once again sneak through the food prep area, having established the fact that I'm going to use it as my in and out route for occasional cigarette breaks. I now stride through with much greater confidence.
It's very empty in there right now because they are literally taking the stuff straight back to the house. There's nothing. There's no more food to come at this point, so it's quite empty in there. So yep, no problem.
So yes, I shall sneak out that way and then round the corner, not particularly hurrying, but striding as if to take another stroll around the house. Only this time, I have my written instructions as to what to put on the pig.
Well, knowing you, and I'm a bit nervous about what he wants to put on pigs.
So Francis is going to get a new lick of paint.
Lovely. Are you heading
On my-
straight? Are you heading straight there directly, or are you taking a route?
I'm pretty much heading straight there. Not like at a rush, and I'm just going to meander, looking enthusiastically at the nice house and everything, as if I'm just having a stroll with a cigarette. But I do have a plan in mind.
Plan, like a plan. As you,
Okay, so refresh me, Luke.
Yeah.
When does the dancing start? Tony's very impatient.
when does the dancing start? I will take that as a service person walking past, as Tony asks. Says, well, I believe there is an order for this evening.
Mhm.
We've still got the. We'll be bringing you some teas and coffees in a minute, and
Mhm.
there's the speeches, of course. And he sort of like rolls his eyes. So this is when
Tony
I'm
also
glad.
rolls his
This is
eyes.
when I'm glad I'm in the service industry. I can just head back to the hall.
Mhm.
And then I believe the band will be setting up, and then that will be the first dance and music.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Well, that's okay. That's okay. And so they wander off. Interestingly, as Ben, as your boy's wandering over, this is why I got the name list. So don't stop turning. There we go. So as John is wandering across and sort of reaches, if you're sort of meandering, sort of diagonally across, you walk past in front of the band van. Actually, sort of
Yes.
about 20 foot in front or so.
Mhm.
And one of them shouts out, "Excuse me, mate. Excuse me. Have you got a cigarette at all? I could borrow."
Oh, most definitely. Yes, I will definitely take a second to offer a cigarette. Always useful to have a comrade in arms in a tight moment.
Oh, and he's in tight trousers as well. I tell you, these are quite snazzy outfits they're wearing. He thanks you profusely and sort of holds it up. He goes to get a lighter. You can leave him to do it, or you can light it for him. It's up to you. He's quite happy. He starts patting his pockets, to his tight pockets. Finds his lighter and sparks it up. And
Excellent stuff.
he says, "Where have they got to in there? We've been waiting for ages."
They're just sorting out the Eton mess.
Ah, one of those, is it?
Hmm.
You don't reckon you could have a word with someone, see if they could bring out an extra dish or two for us? Just to sort of just grab something. It's pretty hungry work, and if they're only here, we're gonna be stuck here for another half hour.
You know what? I've got to finish my cigarette first, but I'll see what they're doing in the kitchen, mate.
Cheers, appreciate that. There's 5 of them in the band, but it's which you can see, but he sort of looks at it and he says, "Look, we don't need 5, just a couple. We can sort of share. It's not a problem. Just sort of keep the sugar levels up. Do you know what I mean?"
I'll see what I can do.
Cheers, thank you.
So bid him a fond farewell and meander off round the corner towards the coal shed.
Cool. That is, you don't come across anyone else on your way there.
Excellent. Then, after doing a sort of amazingly stealthy sort of rolling of the eyes, Buster Keaton look around us, which could not be more suspicious, I crack open the door and sneak inside, where I join Sir Francis.
As the door is cracked open, you hear sort of a little startled snort from the inside. And Sir Francis backs up quite quickly against the wall, because you see, as well as being a very curious pig, Sir Francis is also a very cowardly pig. Hey, Ali, you all right?
Ali?
So Sir Francis is very curious, but also cowardly.
Okay. I will carefully close the door behind me, and go forward, making soothing noises. What noises do pigs think is soothing? Probably not the sizzle of bacon, right?
Little grunting noises.
Yeah, that's right.
Basically, if you mutter under your
noises.
breath, it'll be soothed.
just low and
Maybe.
quiet.
Yeah, something soothing.
I think the pig sort of judges that there's no easy way out, so is soothed. The beast is soothed somewhat.
Good. Then I shall pull out my disguise kit as prepared. In this case, I'm disguising a pig as a pig with political motivations.
Okay.
and very carefully and gently. I certainly don't want to injure the pig in any way, even if it wasn't a timid pig. You understand?
Well, of course.
So I begin inscribing on the flanks of the pig the messages that I have.
Okay. Do you want to keep that secret for now to be revealed at a later point, or do you want to reveal it now?
Well, I think it's fair to say that at least 2 of them were already revealed in part 1, weren't they?
That is true.
So it might be worth now revealing all 3, just so we set the scene correctly.
Okay, so what 3 things you haven't graffitied upon this pig, this poor...
Well, I'm graffitiing courtesy of Graham's request. I'm graffitiing Penn used motors on the pig.
Oh, that's a real sort of top quality internet meme advertising there.
Indeed. I am also writing with as a sort of digital looking block lettering as I can. Red 8:25 a.m.
Yeah.
As Tony requested.
Yes.
And rather more bold or to the point, I suppose. More direct. Right down the middle of the back of the pig, right down the top. I'm graffitiing the phrase "cheating bastard."
Oh.
That could mean something completely different at the poor guy's wedding.
It ties into Red 825 though, probably.
And
It
yet,
stands to be seen,
I don't really care how they take it, as long as the pig's there to enjoy the experience.
To be fair, John does take his badminton very, very seriously.
So as soon as I'm finished, I'm going to send a quick text to my conspirators, my co-conspirators.
Yep.
And indicate that I'm going to try and make a judgment call as to how easily I can maneuver the pig on my own, or whether or not I'm going to need particularly Graham's help with this, because he's a strong lad. So what do I think? Is this pig so tame it will be easily led?
If you remember last time, when you were getting out of the back of the van, just because the size of it, you probably need at least 2 people, I'd imagine.
Okay. Then I shall send through a request saying the pig is liveried. Time to come and help me move it, and then I shall spend a little bit of time thinking about the most sensible approach route.
Tony texts back, shouldn't you just lure it to the tent?
I think that might work.
I've got some trifle left.
But we'd have to lure it over quite a lot of open ground. I think, truthfully, it would be better if we can get it trotting with one of us on each side of it, just literally steering it straight there. We're not going to be able to pick up a pig, you understand, and carry it. So this is a bit more of a challenge. Yeah, I think speed, at least in the final rush, may be of the order. And I'm still trying to work out whether the solution is to sneak it in through the bar entrance, then close the door that leads out of the back of the bar, and then somehow smash and knock over the bar itself, releasing the pig into the side of the marquee, or sneak it in through the back door, or even through the kitchen, now that the kitchen is basically emptying. The prep room. But I'm giving that some thought at the moment.
Are you sending that all in a text?
No, that's what I'm doing. All I've sent in the text is the pig is covered, is ready.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to need help moving it.
Tony sends back send pics.
Sure, pigs or it never happened. Yeah.
Was that send pics or send pigs?
Both.
Send pigs.
Send pig pics.
It's two
So-
messages, one
so
after
yes,
the other.
that's what I'm
Send
doing.
pics, send pigs.
Oh, I forgot I burst my tea bag earlier. Ugh.
Oh.
Graham will message back
Oh.
and say, "Are we going now?"
I don't know. What's your thinking?
Graham will list. He'll sort of list. I guess the big things at a wedding: cake cutting, first dance, speeches. I don't know. Look over to Tony. Just sort of shrug.
First dance. Tony messages back first dance.
Yeah,
But
I
that's
think,
a little long way, isn't it?
yeah,
It
that's a
is
way off. But
reasonable.
I certainly think we should avoid the cake cutting part because the groom is a keen hunter, and I'd like him to be unarmed when the pig comes into the tent because I want the pig to have a fighting chance.
That's a very good point.
So from a mechanics point of view, you're short of being able to do it anyway, if that makes sense right now. So yeah, that works.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah, we're still at 12, right?
14.
14.
14, yes.
Okay. So next plan now with the pig decorated, and I shall give it a quick pat on the head and calm it down as best I can, and then sneak my way back out and head back towards the marquee, heading in back through the food prep area. And that's me done for the moment.
Okay. As you wander back, you notice that the dark clouds are looming. They've definitely moved over the last since you've been eating. Let's put it that way. Okay. So a bit of weather change. So you head back in just as the teas and coffees are being brought to the table, which is another sort of Englishy tradition. I don't know if it's the same everywhere else, where after the meal they bring out the teas and coffees onto the table. So you can have...
No, that would be courteous. American weddings are as uncomfortable as possible.
And there's a bit of offering, but they sort of just pour them out, and sometimes they'll leave them at the table. It's no big deal, really. It's not a big thing. At your table, if I remember correctly, Graham is sat next to Deanna Smythe.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
I believe so.
Who is a few glasses in. Let's put it that way now. And she's sort of leaning on the table, looking at Graham. And she's like, "So how do you know my father? How do you know? How do you know?"
Oh, we're old friends. We go way back. Ever since we were young.
Wow, a long way back. Long way back. She spotted you as someone that can probably take a bit of a joke.
Not that long.
Not that. Oh, wow. I was visualizing your story in black and white. Okay, but not sepia. Okay. How did you get an invite here? Surely people don't get an invite just because of knowing the father of the bride.
Well, when you've known somebody that long and you're such close friends, it's I think it's somewhat a given. But I do know his daughter briefly as well through a professional, I suppose.
Oh, do you my half sister? Do you own guinea pigs as well?
No. She I'm a used car salesman, and he'll shake a hand out of habit and slip her over a business card for pen used cars.
She puts it on a pile next to the other one you've already given her.
No doubt you've well, let's just say that she was supposed to help me with some social media for my my
Oh,
business.
doodaloo, 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 doodaloo. As he says those words, the flashback goes.
But of course.
Indeed, and I suppose we come to a point where he's casually walking down the road with a couple of shopping bags in each hand, just going about his daily business, and people in the town are sort of heckling him as he walks down the street. It's the guinea pig man, and someone shouts out, "Oh, look out! Look out! There's a horde of guinea pigs escaped down there." And he sort of just hangs his head and storms off down the road. And then we flash back to before that, with the bride, Hermione, in his used car dealership, shooting a shot of him with a pen, I suppose, like a small child's pen full of guinea pigs, being pen used cars, and the guinea pigs have escaped, and he's petrified. They're crawling all over him. He's screaming, rolling around on the floor in terror, and she just presses send to Instagram, or uploads it to Instagram.
Oh. Wow. That's pretty severe.
And then he just flashes back and says, "Yes, but I don't. I try not to think about that." So it didn't go too well.
She sort of looks a bit thoughtful, a bit, she's a bit wobbly. Glass in one hand, takes another sip. Says, sounds like she's not the first person's life she's messed up. And she goes off into one of her own flashbacks at that point. I know she's just a bit drunk and is staring off into the middle distance.
Do you want some coffee? And he'll offer the coffee pot over.
404 person.
Hey, Kelly, you all right? Oh, let's have you in. You're doing well. You're doing good, Kelly. Yeah, so that's her. Staring off as the teas and coffees are poured. She doesn't even seem to notice you've poured the coffee. Staring off, sipping at her glass every now and again.
As he daydreams off into that flashback, can this marquee that we're in, does it look like there's a solid structure that's visible? Can you see like the supports in the holding the ceiling up?
You can. So it's quite a decent thing. You know those ones that are made of pretty decent wooden poles. So the down bits are quite nice chunky wooden poles with the material between. The roof, of course, needs to be a bit lighter. So it's wooden poles, but they're thinner. They go up. We're not going full on like yurt territory into like a little bit because it's square, but there's definitely wooden poles across and then diagonal. You can see that on the inside with the material, the canopy over the top. Yeah.
Okay. Roughly how high?
Ooh.
Could you reach them if you stood on a table, for example?
You could reach the edge, and you could probably reach a couple of feet in from the corners, if that makes sense, from the side. But you couldn't get anywhere near the middle, the top. That's high enough.
Cool. Okay, perfect. He'll look over to the photographer and just say, "I'm sorry, I couldn't pester you."
Oh, I've just crashed, I think. Don't know if anyone else can see or hear me. It's gone very wonky. I'm the only one alive. Don't know. Can you see me but not hear them? Are we with me or are we with them? That's what I want to know, Kelly. A bit strange. Wondering if Roll20's kicked them out. Okay, so it's me. Okay. Okay, if people can hear and see me, we'll take our 5-minute break and return. And yeah, and then for everyone else, we'll come back from that. I'll do some resetting, restarting. Cool. Okay. Okay, you guys back? Okay, cool. Are we back?
Okay, I've got you again, Luke.
Good. I don't know what that was. That was just a roll 20. I just needed to reconnect it, but I didn't want to risk it midstream, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I'm
that makes
on
perfect
voice.
sense.
I need to turn voice off now, so we were just talking there. We're back, everyone, by the way. So it's all good. Donk, donk, donk. Welcome back to part 4 of Peg at a Wedding. Part 2 of part 2. Wow. You can tell I'm a maths teacher. My multiplication is working very well. Speaking of 4, there is 4 of us, but only 3 of us are guests at this wedding. And that is Tony, John, and Graham. And they are currently enjoying their tea or coffee, if they are indeed drinking, or enjoying watching young Deanna Smythe staring off blissfully into space, a bit sozzled. While that tea and coffee is going on, traditionally they would know, or 2 of them would know at least, so traditionally at an English wedding that means speeches are incoming, very much so. Interestingly, every wedding has sort of a quirk to it, and in various quirks, and one of them in this one appears to be that the best man, Reckless Ronnie Reinhardt, and the head bridesmaid, Debbie Clough, whose nickname I still can't remember if Socks is on at all. It's a Thumper. Was it Thumper Clough? I think it might have been.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, they are. They're bringing that down. I think that's good. Yeah.
It is now.
It is now. Debbie Thumper Clough. I don't know why it was, but they're bringing around what look to be big bags of those Debbie, not Debbie Downer. She's in a good mood so far. A few more drinks, we'll see how it goes, I guess.
Well, I mean, she's not getting John's attention, so she might be a bit down.
Oh, that's true. I don't know. Maybe she needs a bit of Tony time. That gets everyone back up again.
I do my best.
Hey, Sparrow! A 3 out of 10 from Ben. So they are bringing what looks like big bags of party poppers around, and they're sort of. Oh, don't worry, Socks. Half of that problem is our problem. It's our problem, to be honest. It's not all your laptops. They're bringing around big bags of party poppers and dropping handfuls out on tables, not counting them massively, just dumping enough for everyone to have like a couple, and then moving around. So they're starting at table 2 and 3 where they were sat, down to 4 to 5 and 6, and they get to they sort of both get to yours at the same time because they've done half the table each. So you've got Reckless Ronnie and Debbie Thumper Clough have arrived at the table. They both have that slightly flushed look about them that they have indeed been having a good time drinking. Reckless Ronnie maybe too much so for a best man. Bad form for a best man to go so early, I feel. But he has. His tie is nearly as skew-ifs as Ewan's was last week. And so you get handfuls of these party poppers on the table at once because they both sort of reach in and sort of tip them out onto your table at the same time. And they are there. They're there at the table if you want to. There's a moment they sort of catch each other and they're sort of like trying to work out whether to pick any up or not, and they don't.
Tony tucks a couple away in his pocket for later, since there's plenty to spare. You never know.
Yeah, Graham will definitely do the same. Especially with a cowardly pig.
You know what? Tony will wink at Debbie. No problem. He just does it.
Oh,
John will be back in a minute.
Debbie sort of smiles at him and sort of looks away quickly and then looks back to see if he's still looking at her.
Oh yeah.
And then she sort of flushes a little bit more and looks away again. And she sort of says to the other half of the table, she's like, "I've these poppers. They're for you to fire off during a certain part of Ronnie's speech, if that's okay. Just when he does it." And Ronnie he's not picked anything up. He's like, "Yeah, and make sure you do it right. All right?" Sort of staring almost aggressively, particularly at John.
Well, if I've made it back in at that point to actually hear him say this,
yeah, it would.
Then then I shall say, well, you know, sometimes I'm calm, but sometimes I'm all at sixes and eights. And I sort of fix him with a penetrating stare at that point, so you know there's a story behind that reference.
Oh, is it a story we can go to right now?
Absolutely. So, flashback to an outing clay pigeon shooting with the groom and his best man and myself. And the groom once again is trying to demonstrate in front of his friends that he is an exceptional sportsman. And it has come down to the two of us shooting off for the last part, and Reckless himself comes around with a box of shells for each of us, and we load up, and the clays start flying, and we start shooting, and unaccountably, I'm just missing lots that I would normally hit. And eventually, it's all over. No chance at all. And shake hands with the groom and watch him wander off. And as I bend down to pick up the box of shells, I sort of notice something, that the number 8 on the box and the number 8 on all of the shells, the shotgun shells individually, have actually been finished with a black marker, and they had number 6 written on them beforehand. You sort of look at this and it's like, ugh. And once again, he, this time with the collaboration of his best man, has cheated.
Oh, there seems to be a pattern going on here.
You jerk.
He is a jerk.
Yeah, people who cheat at friendly sports, it's just not on.
It's not. Although he's a bit drunk, and that's been kind to him, Ronnie does get it, because I'm guessing his memory's not from horrifically long ago.
No.
And so he sort of gets it, and he fixes you with a stare. He says, John, just make sure you aim those things properly. I know sometimes when you're trying to aim explosives, you're not that great.
Oh, don't worry. I know exactly where to point them.
He sort of fixes you with another dirty stare, and then he just wanders off straight back to looking at his mates.
Before he goes, if I can, I would
Yeah,
like
of
to
course.
slip. I'd like to slip the dinner roll from my pocket into his pocket, just like a little extra lure for the pig, just in case.
Oh, I like it.
Tony has a sense that this conversation had some meaning, and he's coming to like John a bit. John could do it with a little help in the flirtation department, but maybe he and Tony can hang out sometime. And I'll give him some lessons.
Yeah, a bit of a pointer, yes.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to make, because we've been very light on dice rolls so far, I'm just going to make you roll let's go a D10, the best of all the dice, just because why not, to see how well embedded and how much he knows. The higher the better.
8.
Okay.
Nice.
I'm going to say that got in there. He's not noticed it. He's quite drunk anyway. That's cool. There's not going to be any problems with that. The roll is in there. So that's good. There's 2 things I need to bring it out at this point. John, have you noticed Tony winking at Debbie Thumper Clough?
Oh, I don't know. Have I?
Would you like to decide, or would you like to roll on it?
I think I'd like to roll on it, if that's okay.
Okay, I won't make you use a D10.
Good man.
Let's go for a D12. That's a nice, exciting one.
Oh, we love D12s.
But there we go. What we'll do is, before you roll, 1 to 4, blissful ignorance. 5 to 8, you saw her expression, if that makes sense, but you didn't know what he was doing. and then 9 to 12 you spotted what he was doing. Does that
Okay.
make sense? You happy with that?
Yep.
Cool.
Okay. That's a 6.
Okay. So you saw her sort of get a bit flustered and sort of look back and look away and blush a little bit.
Well, I'm naturally going to assume that's because she's looking at me then.
Well, of course. Of course.
I love
Obviously.
it. Honestly, that's the best possible outcome. Because really, all Tony wanted was for her to stick around the table more for John's sake. And he knew
Yeah.
you weren't going to be any good at it.
Yes. Yes. So you know, I'm immediately enthused with the desire to go and talk to her.
Okay. So she's just about to leave the table, but if you want to call her over or go over, she's happy to stop and chat for a bit.
Oh, I'm certainly not going to call her over to me. I shall go over to her. Yes.
Okay. Oh, John, how are you? Are you enjoying? Are you enjoying yourself?
It's lovely. Yes, lovely. It's this sort of place that makes you think in terms of romance.
Well, well, we are at a wedding after all, I guess. There's nowhere more romantic, surely.
I agree. So, what are you doing with yourself these days? I don't seem to have seen you for a couple of months.
I've been in prison. No, it's not. Says I've been busy with my new job, and I've not been out much, to be honest. Been working hard. Just sort of getting my feet under the table there, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Yeah. Well, it's always good to find your own place in the world. But it feels like a good move for you.
I think so. It's a bit more money, a bit more responsibility. You know what I mean? At our stage in life, of course, that's what you're looking for, isn't it? Bit of that, bit of responsibility, bit of money, bit of you want to be settled. Don't you?
Yes. Yeah, and you're right. I mean, 21's a good age for that kind of thinking.
It is. It is. I sort of messed around and played the field a lot when I was younger, of course, in my younger days. She says, "Your friend Tony, is he single?" She doesn't ask it in a way that's naturally leading anything. Just she could be asking as much for her friend, if you know what I mean. A very flat question. Is your friend Tony single?
Is he single? I think it's fair to say aggressively so.
Right. I'm going to make you roll a dice on that because your weakness is is your love of her.
Exactly.
And I think we could roll based on how badly you take that question and how much you go aggressively so to see whether this will affect the pig track.
All right. What am I rolling?
You're going to roll a. It's still tangentially related at most because it's down to your weakness. So it'll be a D4 again. We're staying on the low dice. None of you done anything crazy. Roll me a D4. Tell me the score and then roll a D20, please.
Okay, it's a 3 on the D4.
Okay.
And a 17 on the D20.
Oh, very good. Well, there's a bit where she could have potentially caught the aggression in your voice, but she doesn't. She's had a few to drink. Oh, interesting. That's interesting to know. Thanks, John. And you?
Oh, I'm currently single and hoping for that to change soon.
Oh, what? You never know. Weddings are great places to find people. There's a lot of single people at this wedding.
Well, yes. It's just I tend to get a bit flustered when I'm around people I really want to be with.
Oh, like Do you know Marianne, don't you? Marianne Drywall.
Yes.
She's a say. Have you noticed she gets flustered? She gets flustered. She's been getting flustered around you.
I must confess I haven't really been paying much attention to her.
Why not? She's a very beautiful girl.
Well, because she's sort of been spending all day sitting next to you.
Sorry, that wasn't her. That was me. Single, eh? She sort of looks a bit taken aback at that, and flushes a bit red again. And so I'm just changing the graphic, and sort of says, nice talking, John. The speeches are just starting, and she sort of rushes off a bit towards the. You can't necessarily tell how she's taken it, but she's definitely flustered. Might be good, might not be bad, you know.
Okay. Well, you know, I threw the chum in the water. You just have to see if the shark follows the boat, right?
That's definitely a euphemism. Cool. It is indeed at this point where the glass is clanging again, and because reckless Ronnie's got back up to the table and he's giving it all that ding 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 to get Henry and Hermione to kiss. Hooray! Again. And then
I assume it's expected we all make that noise.
Oh, you have to. Of course you can.
Of course.
It's the rules. Yeah.
And
Tony's seething, and he does. He does it anyway.
And then Tony feels a tap on his shoulder, and it's one of the people from the table 5, which of course is the Instagram friends.
Yes.
Table, which you've already done photos and stuff with them.
Mm-hmm.
And
I posted them with great tags.
Oh, you did, and that got a lot of likes already.
Mm.
And one of them who was the one that squeezed your buttoculars a bit too excitedly earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Leah's behind you, clinging their own glass, cling, 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 right next to you.
I personally don't know what's expected here. Does Tony?
It's only the married couple that have to do this. That's the only thing they have to do.
You know what? He'll do it anyway.
A
quick one though. Nothing weird.
Nothing weird.
Let's not make people uncomfortable. Tony is from New England, so we don't do lingering PDAs. That's gross.
That's quite right too. It sort of it tries to lean in for a bit longer, but you get in and out quite quickly, as it were. And
yep.
And
if he lingers, Tony boops him on the nose. A little affectionate boop.
He sort of does a smile and heads back to the table. There is a moment while he stood next to you though, sort of gazing, when I'm going to need to make you to roll because it is something linked to an X.
Okay.
Could you roll a D4 for me, please?
Oh dear. That's a 2.
Uh-oh. And roll the D20, please. You're all running very well on D20s though.
This is where the one comes, isn't
it? 13.
A 13. Yeah, exactly. Okay. Oh, okay, interesting. Okay.
13 can't be a critical fail, I'm sure.
No, it's called complications.
Oh, okay.
I'm fine with that.
It means
X's always are.
Exactly. It's
honestly, Tony doesn't know where they get the idea that they were together, but you know, he's just affectionate with everybody, obviously.
You just dwell in people's minds, I think.
In fact, if anybody at the table looks uncomfortable, Tony will boop them on the nose too. He's not kissing them, but he'll boop them on the nose.
Yeah, quite right.
He's a little drunk.
As Tony starts the nose booping, there is quite a loud rumble of thunder from outside.
Oh.
Oh.
How does Sir Francis react?
Don't know.
We're not there.
Okay.
Not badly enough that it's heard at this point, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
You've not gone up high enough in that for that to be a problem at this point.
And
But,
you know, pigs are outdoor animals, so they've got to be used to a bit of nature sound, right?
Exactly. We're all used to a bit of nature sound.
Yeah.
Exactly. So after Tony's finished booping, the speeches begin, which I believe the first speech is normally the father of the bride, if I remember correctly.
I think that's right.
I'll row over them quite quickly. Row over them. I was just coming up with a word that I couldn't think of any other word to use. Bilbo stands up. Of course, Graham, you've recognised Bilbo when he's had a few too many. You know what he's like.
Yes.
Yes. From all those times drinking you must have had together.
Yeah.
He's rolling around a bit. And he says, "It's been a thank you all for coming to my wife's and I's daughter's wedding." He covered that up very well. Wedding to my new son-in-law, I guess, to Henry, a lovely couple. And he sort of he starts having a little cry into his tie, a little bit of a sob. He's sort of very heartfelt about it. Deanna rolls her eyes at the table next to you. They're already rolling. She just rolls them more. Purposefully rather than by accident. And Bilbo says, oh, it's so lovely to be surrounded by so many friends and family. Sort of lists off a few family names near the front. And love you to be here. And he said, my dear old friend Graham Penn. Where are you, Graham? Where are you?
Graham will wave his hand from the back.
Graham, come down here, dear friend. Come down here. I've got cigars, my friend. I've got cigars. I forgot all about it. Please, do me this honour.
He certainly will. He'll stand up and he'll sort of look around a little bit awkwardly, take his glass with him, and wander up to the front, put an arm around his good friend Bilbo.
Yeah, from the rugby table, you hear someone sort of go, "Guinea pig."
That will definitely embarrass him a lot more, and he'll just sort of whisper, or say under his breath to Bilbo, "Let's come on, let's get a drink and light up those cigars."
Oh, Graham, it would do me so much honour as my oldest and wisest friend if you could say a few words for me. I fear I've had too much to drink. I think you might be able to tell. And I know no man in this room with a finer vocabulary than you.
Well, I don't think it's entirely appropriate given the situation. But if you go get the drinks in, and I'll pretend to whisper in my ear, and I'll say something, and then meet you at the bar.
Kareen looks very shocked at this point. She looks very nervous. Bilbo sort of stumbles off towards the bar, leaving you stood there with everyone looking in your direction.
My good friend Bilbo has asked me to read this speech for him, and he'll fumble through his pockets and he'll pull out a Penn used cars business card and sort of hold it with his hand at the back so nobody can see what's on the other side. And he'll pretend to start reading out. He'll say, "Thank you all for coming to my wife and I's daughter's wedding." He was meant to read this. It wasn't for me. Daughter's wedding to his lovely new son-in-law, a man who couldn't be a better match for his daughter. For my daughter, sorry, I haven't got my reading glasses. For my daughter, I wish them all the happiness in the world. If you could all join me in raising your glass to Hermione, and he'll stumble for a minute as I read through my notes.
Henry?
And
Henry.
Henry. Yes, thank you at the back. I really should have brought. I didn't know this was going to happen, so I didn't bring my reading glasses at all. As you can tell, my dear friend is quite emotionally affected by the happiness on this wonderful day. Thank you all, and he'll sort of scuttle off towards the bar.
As he scuttles off past the head table, as he gets past Hermione, she sort of hisses at him, rather unfairly actually. She's like, "You're ruining my big day."
This is a great time for him to be clumsy, isn't it?
It's a very good time to be clumsy.
Yes, let's do it. Thank you. Right, roll a d4, please.
Can you do it on purpose? Though?
Yeah, excellent. So it goes, roll a 1.
That is a 2.
Okay, and the d20 for me, please.
D20. And that is a 1.
Oh. Okay, let me double check. Oh, okay. Let me just change the scores as they need to be changed. There we go.
Oh, coffee stains so badly.
So, you were clumsy as you went past. You can explain your clumsiness. I'll give you total freedom about how clumsy you want to be.
Oh, well, thanks. As he walks past, and she mutters that, he sort of I guess he turns around to say something back in quick retort, and catches himself with his own feet and goes stumbling into whoever's between her and wherever she sat at the table and the bar, that direction.
Okay, so that would be the bride. That would be, if my working out is correct, let me just double check. I'll make sure it's right. It is the groom.
Oh, well, there we go. Wonderful. And he'll just completely fall into the groom on the chair, knock the table a little bit. Not sort of right all the way over, but wobbly drinks everywhere, ending up either sat on the groom's lap or in a pile on the floor, uncomfortably close to him.
The groom looks down with you with your head in his lap. You're sort of looking upwards. We haven't gone that far into fast. And he's got his drink all down his shirt. Next to him would be the bride's mother, of course, who she's sort of wringing off her arm where booze has flown. Her fascinator hat is a bit moist. You can see it dripping down slowly across her face. And the bride is giving you absolute dagger. She's screaming. And Henry goes very, very quiet, very, very pink.
I start patting down the wet, like his wet shirt and trousers. And I'm sorry, I'm so sorry.
And as you say that, there's another massive roll of thunder, louder than before. And at that point, there is the unmistakable cry of distress of a farmyard animal. From somewhere, you've hit that point. And more than a couple of people sort of turn to like, what? That seemed really close. There's sort of someone even like looks out the door.
Can Graham get his phone out of his pocket and he'll stand up and he'll say, "I'm sorry, that's my ringtone." Yes, hello, good. And he'll wander off to the bar, sort of looking over his shoulder back at the.
I want you to have elbowed Henry very firmly in the thighs.
Put all your weight with pointy elbows down.
Yeah, he'll stand up as aggressively as he can.
Ah!
Can I, in fact, as I'm doing that, can I pick him up with one arm
Oh yeah, you're very strong. That
with
is
my
true.
heavy lifting skills? And just
Yeah. Let's
sit him
put
back
him
on his feet.
You're lucky. His father, Clark, who does look quite upset, is quick to try and start calming him down. Bilbo starts motioning at you quite firmly. Quickly, my friend, quickly. He's kind of got a bemused look on his face. He's not too upset. I think he's just hit that stage. Come on, my friend, come on. And beckons you to the bar.
When I get over to Bilbo, I just say, "Well, the good news is I don't think anybody realised that you were a bit tipsy."
He sort of winks at you and says, I'm more than a bit tipsy.
I'm slowly turning into Leslie Phillips.
He sort of hands you the cigars as I guess the two of you start leaning on that bar, drinking a drink and smoking a cigar. They've not noticed and thrown you out yet. It's always hard with it. I believe in a marquee that would count as smoking inside, but they're very posh and very rich. They get away with these sort of things.
Yeah.
It's on private property, I suppose. So, of course, the next speech would be the groom, who gives a very short speech, very curt speech. After a couple of minutes of furore, and people a bit like, thanking who he needs to thank, but his eyes are not happy. Let's put it that way.
Does he forget to mention his new wife? Typical Fenring.
They have been upsetting each other quite a bit. He seems to spend more time thanking the bridesmaids than he does his wife, and then he then a realization, not just because he's like, because he's sort of building back from his point of anger to trying to be jolly. So he gets a big thanking my friends for how could I do anything without you guys? You've been great. The beautiful bridesmaids, because of course you've got to thank the beautiful bridesmaids. The beautiful bridesmaids who've done splendid things. And it's, and my wife, of course, she's looking lovely. What a day! What a day. To the bridesmaids, so gives the toast. Of course, you've all got champagne by this point, so if you want champagne. Deanna's on about a third glass. She's toasting a glass each time. And then it's onto the best man speech. It's not as exciting as maybe he made it out to be. It's full of a lot of in-jokes. Where his table, the rugby table 6, are laughing uproariously. And everyone else is a little bit uncomfortable. And Henry's laughing a lot, looking a bit embarrassed at times when they tell stories that are really not appropriate for a wedding. Read the room. Do you know what I mean?
Tony will lean over to John and just very quietly, while they're all laughing uproariously, tell John a few juicy details about various of the rugby members that probably John didn't want to hear when the jokes come around to them. It's probably not helping their friendship any, but Tony's doing it anyway because he's also drunk.
Oh man! And Reckless when he tells a story of and our stag weekend, in Prague. You remember those? You remember those ladies who? And he's like, well, maybe I should have said nothing at all. And Henry looks a bit nervous, but the other lads, yeah, do you remember? And next to Graham, Bilbo just turns to Graham, says, "He's a wanker," and as everyone else is probably thinking. And he gets to the end. He said, "Of course, it's tradition, but I believe in military circles they do something like a 32 gun salute, 17 gun." He's flubbed his lines.
Wow.
He's tried to be clever and he's flubbed it a bit. He says, "So if you'd all join me, we've got our own guns here." It's England, of course, so I got the best we could do. So if you'd all join me to the bride and groom. And there's some popping off, I guess.
To the bride.
Tony says exactly the same thing.
To the groom.
To the groom.
Graham won't say that to Bilbo, obviously.
And doesn't need Fire Popper.
To the groom and the father of the bride.
Yes.
At this point, things sort of settle down, and a number of people either make a run for the bar or run for the toilet, which is very common after the speeches.
Mm.
And the band sort of seem to get the nudge from inside, sort of the wink, and they start bringing their stuff in to set up, and you've got some free time.
Quick question, Luke.
Yes.
Having known Bilbo for some years now, how what stage of drunk is he at?
That he would find very easily led, finds everything quite funny, telling stories that he probably shouldn't tell about people he shouldn't tell them about, if that makes sense. Big bad head in the morning, big bad head in the afternoon, and probably the evening as well. I think he's just very nervous about the day, so he's gone big on it. Do you know what I mean? A lot of responsibilities for the poor boy. So yeah. Is that helpful?
Yes, it is. I'll just quickly say to him, "Oh, come on! I think the bar's about to get a bit crowded. Should we finish these off outside before the rain sets in?"
Oh, you've spoken my mind, dear friend. Let's get out of this pit of vipers.
And he'll order a couple more, some drinks for the road, and carry out a tray and lead Bilbo outside.
As you wander out, it does indeed thunder again loudly. It's only a few miles away now, and as you get to the entrance, you go through past I'm guessing the doorway up at the top right of the marquee. You see lightning flashing from behind,
The bog door.
Yeah, the bog door. Lightning flashing from behind the maze area.
Okay,
So
cool.
Yeah. Tony's gonna head up for a smoke too. It's been a bit. He needs to stretch his legs. He's a little mad. For some reason, he thinks that he should have been thanked in one of these speeches. He doesn't know why, but it still annoys him.
Speaking of mad, Tony,
Mhm.
I want to know more about your anything from Tony's past of interest. Well, a lot from Tony's past is of interest. What can be shared on a stream?
Oh, okay. So, this is another. This is another one of those like uncomfortable scenes where, the oh shit, what's the opposite of a bridesmaid?
The opposite of a what? Sorry.
What's the opposite of a bridesmaid?
Groomsman?
Groom, a best man, a groom.
Best man.
Best man.
Yeah.
Best man. Oh, sorry.
If we remember the confrontation that the best man had with Tony earlier about Jack and how he had hurt Jack really badly, and maybe he shouldn't be here because of that. We're going back to that scene where Tony is kind of being dismissive of Jack and has tired of him very suddenly and is just sort of like, I'm just been really busy, dude, like got a lot going on in my life. And then the best man texting Tony later on saying, that's not going to bring Henry back.
Nothing will now.
No. So him confronting Tony earlier in the day was not the first time he's confronted him
Yeah.
about it.
That's pretty bleak.
Oh, Tony. Oh, Tony. As we come back from Tony's bleak memories,
Hmm.
as he walks out, getting his cigarette out and he's grabbing his lighter.
hmm
Yeah, there's another rumble of thunder, and people are caught because they want to go outside. They want to go to the loo. There's that chance to go and wander around the pond,
hmm
and sort of have a little bit, but the weather's not looking good, so they're
Check out the labyrinth.
exactly. They would have
Tony's
gone out,
headed toward the labyrinth,
yeah,
which coincidentally is also toward the coal shack.
other direction.
Yeah,
Is it?
opposite direction to the
Opposite
coal shed.
direction.
So
Right.
that
There's a
would
few-
be
Oh, I see Sheddage.
The shed's your coal south of
Oh,
the
coal shack's on the
Whittle
other side of Whittle Hall.
Hall.
yeah.
He's gonna head toward the maze, but then head around.
Around the back. Yes, I like it.
But he will spend some time looking at the maze.
A few people have gone over there because they've been eyeing it up. Do you know what I mean? It's like, oh, mate.
Mhm.
They've had a few drinks now and they're feeling a bit more adventurous.
Yes.
It's-
It seems
it's-
like the kind of thing that Tony would be expected to do. Check out clandestine, interesting spots.
Of course, yeah.
So you hear some shouts and shrieks of entertainment coming from within the maze as you sort of wander past. There's queues for the loo are already forming as you wander, I guess, between the two and make your way towards Whittle Hall.
Mhm.
No one's paying any particular attention to you.
Yeah.
Everyone's in twos and threes and doing their own thing, really.
Yeah, I think he would have given a significant look to the line at the porta potties, gone and looked at the maze, and then started heading around back behind the house toward the coal shed.
Very cool. And as far as you know, no one's paying you any heed.
Excellent. Well, it would be uncomfortable if they were, because he's very clearly going to find a place to use the bathroom.
Okay. There's no service staff going to and fro at the minute. They're having their own lull. There will be some cakeage later, but not for now. Oh, Sparrow, I hope you're still around. Okay, cool. Yeah, so it's all very quiet, like mysteriously quiet, and the sky's gone very purple with
Mm.
rolling of thunder. And it's very, you know what? When you get that storm and sort of even the wind sort of drops and it gets quite dense,
Yeah.
it's feeling very still and dense,
Mm.
and it's very quiet around the back of the hall.
Okay. I'm wondering whether we move before. Can you tell me what the situation is with the band at this point?
So the band, Herman's Helmets, they're a swing band. They're setting up. They've just started bringing their stuff in now. There's
Okay.
that staging that's inside. They got all their equipment. It's going to take them half an hour to get the stuff together. That's how
Fair
the
enough.
bands are
Okay. It'll be a while before they're actually rigged with all the mics and instruments and everything.
Yeah, you're looking at 40 minutes before the first dance.
Okay.
You had some snackies to grab.
A few bits and pieces. There's some trifles left.
I'm just sort of thinking of backup plans,
Oh yeah, you
Which-
as well.
which are always worth having just in case. Okay.
Oh, speaking of backup plans, actually, Sparrow did remind me, because I had written it down. There is. This was the point. Of course, the photographer, seeing a lull in things, she does make a run for her car. Jenny Carmichael. And while you are drinking with Bilbo, I'm just throwing it in because it's an aside. While you're drinking with Bilbo,
Cool.
the photographer does turn up to you with a half open, an opened and half empty bag of black cable ties. Which she says, these are spares anyway. Use as many as you need. Don't, if there's any left, give them back to me at the end of the night before I leave.
Oh, perfect. Thank you. Thank you very
And
much.
And then she goes off to take, little photos of groups of people fooling around by the maze and by the pond and trying to avoid the sheds because they're not very picturesque. So sorry, Ben.
Cool.
I was just reminded.
No, that's good. Okay, so I will set off on another quick smoking trip. Again, round the south side of Whittle Hall.
Yep.
And once I'm clear I'm not being observed, because I can stand around and just admire the architecture until I'm not observed, if you see what I mean. I shall crack the door into the coal shed again and go in and try and calm down what is clearly a slightly more agitated pig.
Yes, and it must be said that Sir Francis is slightly agitated, a bit squealy. Nothing too horrific. When you're in there when there is more thunder, and she does seem to sort of shrink away a little bit and let out some grunts and some moans. But she's not trying to like do a run or anything, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. So, right. Okay. For now, I don't think it's an appropriate time to move the pig. There are people milling around everywhere, and I don't think we're going to have too much difficulty coming up with an excuse to borrow the band van if we need to. So, for the time being, let's spend a few minutes just calming down the pig, and then climb out of the coal shed and go complete the lap of the hall, heading round the east side of the hall.
The pig does appreciate the calming. She's growing fond of you, it must be said.
This is good.
If it's a video game, you get a little bink at the top saying your relationship with the pig has improved.
I'm actually getting quite fond of the pig as well.
Yeah.
That's good. Oh, that's good. And so, as you leave her behind, and you see the band have clearly got what they think they need out. Someone's come out and done the old blip blip on the door, and sort of wanders in. And the van is just left alone. There's no too much out this side of the marquee because there's not much here. There's a few people smoking by that entrance, but the bar and the loos and all the fun is the other side. So this is definitely the quieter side as it stands.
Yes. Okay. I shall meander back, just keeping a weather eye out for my my partners in crime, or at least in fun, and send a quick message saying I've tried to calm the pig down a little bit. And we're ready to go when the moment is right.
Okay. Right. The moment isn't right at the minute, 'cause you need to resplend for us briefly.
Oh, must I resplend? I will try. No, got to get this right, haven't I? Which way do I resplend? I'm trying to remember which way to resplend. Sorry, bear with me a second.
Ewan is letting you see.
Oh, thank you. I think this is going to be bad, isn't it?
Yeah, you aim for your other shoulder.
I've got to get this up to the right height.
That's it.
Now look up.
And then look over there. There you go.
Close enough. Resplendent.
Lovely.
Very, very good. Resplendent. Very resplendent.
Excellent.
So as you wander back, Tony, are you doing a whittle up, whittle haul? Is that what you've gone to do? How uncouth. You said you've gone to the back to look as if you were going to take a wee.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, he probably does because it's been a minute. And the bathrooms are quite full. But off toward, out of sight. That's rude otherwise. And then he'll head toward the coal shed. But having received the message from John, it's just going to do a quick check-in.
Okay.
He's the only person who hasn't been out here since the beginning.
True. So are you going in? You're going in to see Sir Francis?
Yeah, why not?
Ah,
Sir Francis is pretty calm, right?
a bit snuffly. She was calmed definitely by John, of course. John, the pig whisperer.
I think at this point, Tony is drunk enough to be full of bad ideas.
Okay.
Okay.
Who, Tony? No.
And he might think that, maybe Sir Francis needs a little chemical calming.
Okay.
So he pulls out what's left in his little thermos.
Okay. Oh, good. Okay, I thought we were going to go. Not that we have to kill the stream for a second.
Oh no, of course not. That's not me. That's Ewan. And then just pours the rest of the mimosa and whatever the Harvey Wallbanger into the little cup, and then just kind of offers it to Sir Francis.
Sir Francis, pigs aren't generally fussy, and Sir Francis hasn't been watered for a little while.
Yeah,
and she does slurp it up. The fruit, the smell of the fruit, the sort of the rotteny kind of fruit is in there. Loves it. Snuffles it all away. Looks instantly a bit more relaxed.
Excellent. We like that. We also like the chaos that's going to come after a slightly drunk pig.
You can deal with a hungover pig the next day.
We're returning it, right?
Oh, the poor farmer.
It's like being the grandpa. You can give the kid as much candy as you want.
That's true.
So give it back.
That's right.
In fact, I think Tony might have like a couple little nips still in his pocket. So it's not just like the dregs of the thermos. There's a couple more shots in there.
Okay, yeah, enough to
Nice.
Pigs are pretty big. They've got a big mass.
Yes,
That's it.
It's got to be worth it.
So it's balanced. It's not used to alcohol, but it's big, so it balances.
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
And pigs have oddly human biology, don't they? So they sort of process alcohol the way we do.
Yeah. Yep. So he'll tuck that all away, give a couple scritches, back his way out, close the door firmly, use some hand sanitizer, and mosey on back.
As he sort of gets about 20 yards from the coal shed, Jack Windsor Lane approaches.
Oh, Jack.
It says, "Tony, what are you doing? What are you doing out here?"
Oh, the porta potties are pretty full, aren't they? It's quite a line. We don't necessarily have to sit down to do our business.
That's I used the pond myself.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think it had enough water features.
So what are you doing coming this way?
I'd come out the front for a smoke.
Mhm.
Just sort of having a look at, me, I like my cars, my vans. I was just looking at the bands, having a look at the band's van. It's quite nice. And then I
When
saw
he
you.
says have a smoke, Tony reflexively takes a cigarette, and lights it. Offers him one, lights it for him if he accepts it. Yeah, it's quite a shindig in there, isn't it?
It is. It's a great place, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Look at this. I always wanted to live in a big old house like this, but I don't know. Seems like too much work.
Heating bills must be terrible.
Oh, can you imagine? Especially like in the winter months.
Mm.
You need something to keep you warm in those winter months. I don't think that house will do it.
Tony actually does laugh like that and just kind of like looks away. Well,
You got time for a walk, Tony, or are you heading back?
I've got some time. It's no problem.
And he goes to walk the direction you just come from. If you're happy, or if you want to lead him in another way, but he's heading.
Of course, the train is coming by as I'm about to answer this. Just a moment. Yeah, he's gonna subtly kind of like just give the coal shed a little more berth going around, like an extra 10 feet or so. There's sort of this like little bit of like, even if he has to hip bump him, just sort of like move him over a little bit more away from the shed.
Mm-hmm.
Jack sort of half absent-mindedly, half drunkenly, half playfully, and I know that's three halves, but he's drunk, so he can get away with it.
Yeah.
Sort of hip bumps you back a bit in the other direction, and it's not much. He's talking about just how his life's been really, and how things are. He's gone very self-obsessed all of a sudden.
Oh yeah, that's fun. Tony knows how to deal with that.
About his family, about how tough things are at the minute, all that sort of usual sort of stuff. Of all the best men and ushers, he's definitely the one you picked well, because he's clearly the one with the most heart to him, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
He seems okay. He's a bit leery, but he's okay.
This is probably the easiest scenario possible for Tony because he doesn't have to think about his answers. He can just be like polite and slightly encouraging. So, oh yeah, I know about that. Yeah. Oh, that's wild.
Jack said, you know, Henry weren't going to invite you, except I told him he should.
Well, why did you do that, Jack?
It just felt right that you should be here. You know, it'd be a shame. You know a lot of us. Some better than others. And you're generally pretty. You're generally pretty well liked by most people here. You know, some more than others.
I do try.
It just felt that you should be here, and thank you for coming. I know it must be hard to sit through this, but I appreciate it, and I know some others do as well.
Say me a dance, Jack.
If I'm still standing, sure, why not? You remember my Macarena was banging.
Oh, yeah. I remember just how my heart felt watching you do it the first time.
He sort of smiles. He gives you sort of a little playful shoulder bump, and then you're round the side and walking past the maze and back to the loos.
I feel like it was such a sloppy shoulder bump that Tony had to put his arm around him to straighten him back up, and then just to keep him going in the right direction, just left the arm there.
Oh, which is interesting. This is good because where I just put you on the map is pretty much level with the entrance of the maze and the loos. And another of your exes has spotted this. And so I'm going to have a roll, please.
Okay, what kind of roll?
A D4. You've got all these X's. That's from any public...
Oh, the X's are D4s. Okay.
Yeah. Unless you pretty much say to one of them, we've got a pig.
Apparently, apparently I can only roll 2s.
Okay, 2.
So roll a D20.
Yeah, please.
Oh, no.
What is it?
That's a 3.
3. Oh, that's a disaster. That's good.
Oh, with 3.
I mean, this is a pretty heavy situation. I'm not surprised. Got a pig drunk. I'm dealing with my most recent ex that I fucked for revenge. Like, this is a bad situation. I don't think Tony can charm his way out of this one.
And even worse, as I'm just changing the numbers, you'll be able to see the number first. As you sort of, as you've bumped him and you get back round the corner, and a couple of people you know, look over at you, and you sort of like, you're in that bit where you don't know whether to keep holding him or sort of push away a bit or just style it out. Tony's Tony, you know, people know Tony.
Yeah. I think he'll try to straighten them both up a little bit and like kind of like casually remove his arm, but like not in a I'm embarrassed to be seen like this sort of way, but just sort of like, oh, I need to wave kind of way. That's what he's going to attempt.
As you do that, Jack staggers a little bit and looks down, and he sort of looks again. It's still not too dark. It's September, so it's light into a decent time. And he looks at your shoe. He's like, "Have you stepped in? That looks like pig dung or something. What have you stepped in?"
Oh, ew. And he'll just like scrape his shoe off, and then he'll just take the handkerchief back out of his pocket and like totally ignoring Jack, just cleaning the shit off his shoe. Like, this is a concern. And then he'll just hustle off, holding the handkerchief by its edges. Like, Jack has forgotten. There's something disgusting on his shoe.
Jack just goes wandering off towards the maze. A bit worried he might not get out again tonight, the way he is. But
I mean, that's what the groomsmen are for, right? Rescuing people.
Exactly.
If they're still on their feet.
Yeah, definitely. It's a job worth doing. Fantastic. Okay. So yes, you didn't fully get away with that at that point.
I don't know how.
You came back round, you tried to straighten up, and then you nudged him down, and sadly he did see something on your shoes. You know, still not giving the game
Pig
away.
shit's pretty pungent.
It is, no, yeah. Especially when he just lurched forwards a little bit when you've tried to push him, like straighten him and push him. Okay, so you get back round to the loos. The queues have quieted down a little bit, but of course you're empty because you whittled up Whittle Hall. So you're okay for now. There's still a little while before the band start, but you can start hearing that some 1-2s, 1-2s, a bit of twanging. Drummers sort of going around the set a little bit. So yeah, so that's probably coming up not too far off. People are still spread far and wide. There's some people in the pond. So I think someone's ended up in the pond from the splashing. So there's some whooping through the maze.
It wasn't Graham, was it?
No. And hopefully, for his sake, I hope it's not Henry, as much as we don't like him, because he doesn't like swimming. Is it you, Graham? Is it you, Graham? You're not in the pond, surely.
No, it's definitely not Graham. Graham hanging out with Bilbo still.
I'm slightly disappointed that Graham didn't throw Henry into the pond.
Well, there's still time. There's still time.
Okay. Does anyone want to do anything in these sort of 10 minutes before the band starts, or do you want to move on to the band? There's a bit of lightning, a bit of thunder, but the weather, it's still dry. It's still got that quite warm, strange vibe outside.
Yeah. No, I'm comfortable now with holding off until there's music.
Can I, as we're outside smoking our cigars, can I say to Bilbo, I'm sorry. I feel like such a fool. I think I've ruined your daughter's special day. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention it. There's quite a sounds like it might start raining. Should we do we need to pull these curtains over the gazebo just so they're shut, not closed, but so the rain doesn't get in and ruin more of her day?
Oh, my friend, that's actually a really excellent idea. We can sort of regain some of our standing among our peers. Splendid.
Hopefully.
We'd be looked at the greatest minds of our generation.
Well,
yeah, he's happy to if you are.
Yeah, sure. And then just go around shutting, drawing the what I imagine the doors look like, curtains, curtain doors.
The fabric, tent opening things, yeah.
Yeah, we talked about it before when they were on that the rail. They just pulled along.
Yeah,
to
cool.
show,
Yeah, sort of strung back outside to look elegant, but
there's the like the staff's entrance. There's a couple of them hanging around there, so it's up to you whether you want to try and close that one or not. But people can't see out of that one from inside, if that makes sense. So it's not. If I show you the thingy,
is that the bar one or the food?
The one to the north of Fruit Prep. That's the one they're coming in and out of. Well, and John is coming in and out of in his own very specific way.
Yeah, sure. So we'll leave that one.
Okay.
I guess.
So you got the north one by the toilets is shut, and the south one by the stage is shut. The bar one's tending to be shut a lot by the bar staff anyway, because of course they're trying to create that vibe and not wanting people to see piles of bottles and crates out the back anyway.
Yeah. So, you want to maintain the illusion that stuff just appears and disappears without actually seeing what happens to it. Yeah.
And the one to the food prep one to the main marquee is pretty shut now as well, because they've stopped rushing in and out for a minute. So yeah. So once you're inside now, it does look pretty, insulated from the world.
Perfect. I think that'll do good for the day at least. You know, the rain won't get in. It won't be a washout. Let me get you another drink. You wait here.
Another drink definitely called for. Yep.
As you go up to the bar, you hear these three guy voices outside, like, where's the bloody entrance gone? What's going? And someone like, you someone trip and fall into it, and you see it thud out to the side, and then whoa!
Graham laughs to himself, and
Someone crawls underneath it to get in, clutching the bits of grass to get into the inside like flooring.
And he'll keep an eye open. Well, no, actually, he'll send a message to his two co-conspirators and just say, the doors are shut. I've got some cable ties if we want to make sure they're shut. But I'm with the father of the bride at present.
Oh, that's for the cable ties. That's good.
Okay, that's good stuff.
He'll say, especially you, Tony. I know you're quite good with the old sleight of hand.
Yes. That is a skill.
Yeah, the pig suspicion track is at 12. That's why they saw that.
Yeah.
And he'll bring some shots back to Bilbo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I seem to remember at one time the pig suspicion track was at 2.
Seems
Yeah,
very
but
long
we're
ago.
getting along. We gotta let them know.
Build the suspense.
Okay. Yeah, I'm unless someone else asks me to help with something in particular, I'm going to just mill about until the music starts to play.
Oh, Ben, I wanted to remind you that you had promised the band some food.
Oh, good point.
In exchange, probably, for using their van, so this might be a good time for you to acquire that for them.
No, I wasn't planning to give them food in exchange for the van. I was planning to use British awkwardness to obtain the van.
The most powerful weapon of all.
It is. You need
this
to
game has no
understand the
weapons.
extent to which British people will do almost anything to avoid a scene.
I think that's what Jack was trying earlier. And Americans are equally skilled at being oblivious.
I'm pretty confident the entire Dunkirk evacuation was just so we weren't embarrassing anyone.
That would be the British way.
Grandma falls over because she's drunk. We're all inclined to be like, oh, I guess eventually we'll have to take care of that.
But it's not a bad idea. I shall swing through the food prep area and see if I can scare up a couple of plates or something for them.
It's currently empty in there. There's a few bottles of wine that never made it to the tables. A few half-empty bottles of wine that sort of got cleared from.
Mm-hmm.
But the tables are still up and there's still booze on the tables, but they got cleared. And there is indeed a few desserts of each type, really, along with a few bits, a couple of trays of cutlery and napkins and that, like we said before.
Excellent. Then what we're going to do is these bottles of wine screw top.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. I mean, Henry has no class about him whatsoever, does he? Then I'm going to grab a tray of some kind. Where you say there's a tray of cutlery.
Yeah.
Tray of some kind. Spill enough cutlery off it to make some space. Take a couple of bottles of wine, lie them on their sides on each side of the tray. Then stack the space between them with a few dessert bowls. Throw the napkins over the top so it's not obvious what's there.
Yep.
Using essentially the wine to keep the napkins off the food, if that makes sense. And then carry that discreetly, because it's now just looks like a handful of napkins on a tray. out and tuck it behind the stage, sort of between the stage and the wall of the marquee, and say to the lads in the band, "There's some booze, there's some snacks for you there. Just help yourself whenever you got a spare second."
Oh, good man. Thank you. We were only going to get 2 pints otherwise. Each. That's perfect. Thank you. Ah, good man. Like the one you've spoken to before is sort of approaches you himself, says thanks for doing that. Really appreciate that. That'll go down an absolute song, especially during our break. That'll be perfect. Thank you.
No problem at all. Yeah. Have a good time. You don't know the family, do you?
No, no, no. This is purely professional. We play all over the county.
Excellent stuff. Yeah. Well, I mean, if you fancy doing me a favour, try and slide some Two Steps from Hell in.
Ah, it's the bride and groom song. He sort of laughs. He's joking, and then he sort of turns around and says, "Do we know a good swing version of that, don't we, boys?" And the drummer does a little roll. Oh yeah, we can do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, excellent. I shall give him a cheerful smile and a nod and wander off back towards the table.
Fantastic. It's only a couple of minutes later that you hear from the guy you were speaking to, who is the lead vocalist. Ladies and gentlemen, if you'd all come in from outside. People have learned how the doors work by now, so you hear the last few that have been hanging around smoking outside, sort of some filter their way in. And he says, "We are Herman's Helmets. I'm Herman. These are my helmets. And we're here to bring more joy to this wonderful day. The wedding of," and he sort of surreptitiously looks at a note in his hands, "Henry and Hermione. I'm sure it's been a lovely day so far, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the evening. I hope we can provide entertainment. The tables, I believe, are soon going to be cleared away. So tables 3, 4, and 6 are going to be cleared, as these things tend to be at a wedding.
Mm-hmm.
The tables will soon be cleared away. There'll be space to dance. So please, sort of the servant crew come in and start moving things around. Everyone's standing up anyway by this point, clearing it to the side. Says, okay, let's start with the first dance. So if everyone will crowd around, and let's start going. To Henry and Hermione, and a few people. Henry and Hermione. There's another cling, 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 and they got a kiss again.
Yep.
And then they sort of awkwardly get onto the dance floor, and the band start playing some good swing music. And it's, you don't recognise it because it's she's into her social media, and she's definitely gone for whatever current TikTok favourite is doing the rounds, but in a swing style. It's very irritating. And even worse, it looks like the two of them have come up with a dance routine for it.
Tony's face is really sour because Tony is also a musician. And he is aware of what song is current, and he doesn't like it. And he's just like, he almost says aloud, "That bitch."
Meanwhile, John's weakness is rearing its ugly head, because aware that after the couple have finished the first dance, there will be a more general move towards the dance floor. He is quietly and calmly picking his way around so that he'll be next to Debbie when the moment comes.
Oh, Kelly, we'd have you over for any English wedding. We'd love it. It's just as awkward. This is in no way a peculiar wedding. This is very standard. If I
Actually,
averaged out all the weddings
so
I've been
far,
to-
it's really tame compared to most English weddings.
Truth is
Honestly,
stranger
every
than
single
fiction, as they
wedding
say.
I've been to, I felt like I crashed it, even when it's my relatives. So
Always feel
I'm
like
not sure
that
what the
first one.
difference would be at this point. And I think if I ever come to England, that like you should put that on the schedule as a courtesy.
Just
A
as
wedding,
We'll find
any
someone.
wedding.
Any wedding.
I
You can
know
call me
one-
Tony while we do it too.
Yes,
I know this.
yes, you can come in character.
I knew a few places locally that do receptions quite frequently, so we can definitely work that out.
Excellent.
So the drummer looks incredibly bored. This is not what he signed up for in life at all. They've had a few rehearsals of it. There's a little bit of singing, so the singer's sort of pooping in every now and again with a duabo. He said to her, "You sexy MF," because it's it's the TikTok song, and then it's back to a bit of swing. And the thunder isn't helping with the beat. It must be said, but they're getting through, and Henry is doing a bit. He's coming across a bit Tom Cruise. He's coming a bit sort of trying it on, a bit sleazing around, a bit of this. There's a bit of dirty dancing in there as well. Sort of pulling her in on the rope. They're doing the old fake rope and everything. Pulling her in on the rope, letting her go. It's a bit of jazz hands together, and then finally it does seem to reach that time where they've got to an end. They get a generous round of applause. A couple more cling clings from people. An awkward kiss, and the singer noticeably relaxes. The drummer starts to flourish. The mood changes. And he sort of cups the mic. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please, everyone, join the bride and groom. And couples start pairing up and sort of slowly moving in.
And I'm going to lean in and ask Debbie if she'll give me the stance.
You lean in to ask Debbie to give you the dance, just as Marianne was walking towards you. And as you lean into Debbie, that needs to be a roll because it's playing on your weakness.
It is.
So I'll have a D4, please.
Yeah. No, I feel if you have a character flaw and it's literally written on your piece of paper, it has
You
to be
got to.
exercised periodically. That's a 4.
Okay, and the D20.
And the D20 is a 20.
Well done.
So 2 maximums.
What a time!
Nice.
I don't know what she must be quite drunk, I'd imagine.
Tony's happy to swoop in and distract Drywall if you like.
Oh,
If you make the room,
Tony.
he'll scoop her up.
what a ledge! What an absolute legend Tony is.
I know that I've been playing Tony really gay, but he's actually pan. So
And a hell of a wingman, it turns out.
Yeah.
You definitely have to come and come to a wedding with us.
I mean, I personally will dance with anybody. I don't care.
So indeed,
And children are a little limited on it, like 2 dances max.
yeah, that's fair enough. Stand on your toes. That's the problem. So as Marianne does start coming towards, Tony does indeed, in a very nice way actually, sort of offer her, nudge in front, offer the pleasure of this dance in a very charming way, and she sort of gives one look to John, realizes there's more evening to go, and goes off with Tony to join the dance, which is lovely, which does leave John open for Debbie Thumperclough, who pauses for a minute. There's no one else coming around, and she accepts your offer for a dance.
How lovely.
And in that moment where your heart is trembling and there is joy in your heart, like this is exciting for you. Your palms are a little bit clammy. The heart is going, and at that beautiful moment, torrential rain starts driving down on the roof of the marquee. It's a perfect moment. You're caught in a cacophony of senses.
Absolutely lovely. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's nice. Rain is fantastic when you're not actually under it.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a great believer in that. Yeah, so I shall lead her out and attempt to dance.
Okay. Well, to be honest, with a roll of 24, I think you can dance.
Fantastic. If I'd known it was that easy, I'd have tried that in real life. Okay. Just do a quick D20 before setting out on the dance floor.
Yeah, just don't hit
but-
double ones.
But yes, having danced for a few moments with her, I'll let the song come to its natural end, and then step away, because you've got to leave her wanting more, right?
Well, of course, that's one way of looking at it. As soon as you do step away, of course, the best man steps in, as is the best man's. But
It
should have
is.
been the best man's duty, to be honest. You
It should, but I wasn't brooking any insolence from that guy.
you gazumped Reckless Ronnie Reinhardt, of all people. Rishi Snow on October, lovely. Well, I don't know if it's lovely or not. Could have been very frustrating. And so Reckless Ronnie, rather, he's not got your suaveness, quite frankly, and his tie is definitely around his head. He's gone a bit sort of Biff Tannen from Back to the Future, if you can picture that in him.
Yeah.
He's clumsily dancing. She doesn't look that impressed. She plays up to it a bit in a fun way. The music's got a bit jivier, so they're okay. They're okay. They're doing their thing, those crazy kids.
Okay. As soon as I'm extricated, I am out through the food prep area.
Okie dokie. You'll notice the food prep area now has a few tables up against the side and some chairs piled up, the ones that were there. There is a bench laid out which has got some wine bottles on, and it looks like they might be preparing a few, like the evening snacks. Might start coming in soon, but there's only a couple of people in there outside. They pay you no heed. You've been in and out a few times. They just assume you've got a little quirk about you at this point.
Yeah.
Crippling nicotine addiction.
Exactly.
A quirk.
And yeah, I mean, people are oddly forgiving smokers when they just wander in and out through doors they're not supposed to, because they go, "Oh yeah, he's just going for a smoke."
Yeah, it's true, actually. Yeah. Well, that'd be good because all the other doors are shut. You're trying not to get people wet. Very responsible.
Exactly. Yeah. So, so I'm going to quickly peer outside. It's obviously raining fairly heavily, isn't it?
Yes, it is now. You've got a couple of people cowering outside the toilets, and they're the only people you can see at the minute. And it is quite heavily raining, straight down rain.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, I'm not gonna leave just yet. I have this theory about the right timing, but I'm gonna stay in this area so that I can leave when I need to. But I'm not gonna leave just yet. I'm gonna send a message to the other two and say, you ready to go for Operation Oink?
You've been planning it for all these months, and that's what you've called it.
It's a great
We
name.
went through several drafts to get to that, I'll have you know.
Yeah, alliteration, Luke.
Yeah, that's true. It's a powerful literary tool. I'll give you that.
Almost.
If Alice is still watching, she'll tell you the same. Powerful literary tool.
Grunt goings on was a little too saucy, so you should really make it clear what we're doing.
Graham will message back and say, yes, I think we're okay.
Tony's a little occupied.
Tony is occupied.
I don't. I'm like, there's a line of people expecting him to dance with them.
It's very true. They've all taken their number as well.
He's got one of those little pull number things.
But at some point, he will, like, everyone's gonna, like, there'll be like a break between a couple songs, and he'll just like not visibly do this, but like just sort of like, oh yeah, and then check his phone. It's probably been about 10 minutes since you asked. let's say 5, and he'll be like, oh yeah, just give me a second, and he'll make some sort of gesture, like push his knees together and be like, oh, and sort of back away out through the kitchen as well.
Okay. All right. Well, then you'll meet me there.
Graham will have made some excuses to Bilbo and just said, "Oh, I'll be back in briefly. Can I get you a drink on the way back?"
Oh, well, I've better make it a small one.
I'll make it 2. And he'll just walk off.
He's just happily leaning against one end of a bar. You know, a bit of that every now and again when he misses it. But he's happy in himself.
Who wouldn't be?
Yes. So, okay, then I think we're ready to set off to the pig.
Exactly. Even the categories.
Yes. There's 3 things he might want.
Yes.
And all of them are going to take time. Let's go get the pig.
Okay.
Keep crying. It's fine.
Cool. So the people have gone into the loo in that time you've been waiting. No one's wanting to risk it at the minute. Out the front of Whittlehall is very empty. You've got the staff starting to bring stuff around from the back, going round to the top, but they've got sort of they're working in pairs. One person holding an umbrella while the other one carries stuff, and they're very focused, door to door, door to door. It's horrible out there for them. They don't want to be doing it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, as soon as the coast is reasonably clear, going to not exactly make a bolt for it, but walk fairly briskly because it's raining.
Yeah.
Out and down towards the coal shed.
Okay. No one stops you along the way. You're getting very, very wet, but no one's interested.
Okay. Make it to the coal shed, and go in and make sure that the pig is happy and comfortable.
On the way over, can Graham just say to the others too? I don't remember if you recall, but I'd like to be inside when the event takes place. But I did manage to procure some of these if you feel like sealing up some of the entrances or exits, and he'll pass over the cable ties.
I can take that on. Having to be an expert at tying things up and untying them.
Oh my goodness.
I'm just going to keep doing this. I have no problem.
So, I mean,
I feel like you found your niche.
Yeah. It seems to me that our approach route should ideally be not straight across the main drive. That seems to give people too long to see us. So I'm thinking maybe we lead the pig out round the back of Whittlehall, then peer around the corner to make sure there's nobody coming in that moment down the back, and then run the pig out around the back of the maze, and then through the sheds to the actual sort of food prep entrance. If we can then get the pig into the food prep area, we close the outer door then yes, absolutely, Graham, you keep going inside.
I'll set off a few of these, and he'll pull out a couple of party poppers.
Oh, yes.
Just to startle the
Yeah. And once you're in there, we'll push the pig through into the main hall. We'll use any of the party poppers we need in order to encourage it to run in there and run away from the bangs. Give it a good, 30 seconds or so. And then I'll charge in and rescue Debbie.
sounds
Great plan.
Sounds perfect.
It feels
Great
like a
plan.
flawless plan to me.
Doesn't
We're
it?
all prepared for it. This is fantastic. Let's go. Oh, the pig's a little drunk.
It's definitely leaning against the side of the wall somewhat.
Oh yes, the pig's a little drunk. What? Why is the pig drunk?
It seemed like a good idea at the time.
There's another rumble and
Excellent.
a flash of lightning, and the pig doesn't appear to be as stressed.
Yeah.
Okay. It turns out the pig being drunk may be a good thing.
All right, so we get in there, we start smacking its haunches a little bit, like getting it moving.
Okay. Maximum effort.
I mean, Tony's already soaked through. He's willing to get moving on this.
Oh yeah, I mean we're all wet, I'm sure. So and the
Yes,
the
This
very
is-
pig.
much so.
Yeah,
The pig's
this
a
is now
pig, it's
turned
not gonna
into a
mind
sporting
rain.
event.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think pigs are precious about rain.
In fact, I think the more water and mud it can traipse through the
Yeah.
reception,
Honest-
the better.
Honestly, my biggest regret is that we can't film this because it's raining too hard.
We can film inside the marquee though.
That was practically my plan. I figure it'll, especially with the advertising on the side of the pig now, it could make
yes.
for a good social media
Yeah.
campaign. You know, get a bit more clout behind the
Absolutely.
name, pen,
It's
used
definitely a
cars.
good plan. Yeah.
Sweet as a nut. That.
Yes. I mean this is going to be a huge hit on YouTube.
Exactly.
So you're heading
Superb.
round the back of Whittle Hall.
Yep.
Okay. It says
The
Kelly,
well-trod path at this point.
It says Penn used motors after Graham Penn. It's his company. It says red 8:25 a.m., which is Tony sent a message to Henry after a night, and it was read but never responded to.
Mhm.
And what was yours again?
Cheating
There you
bastard.
go, it's cat.
Yes, because of the badminton and the clay pigeon shooting that we know of.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Because the groom is a cheating bastard.
Oh, there you go. So you, the pig, thankfully, as we know, Sir Francis, she is quite curious, and the cowardliness has probably been overhauled somewhat by the alcohol, and she is curious to see what's going. She's been cooped up in there for a few hours now. She's happy to be led away, and I guess as long as you stay relatively close to her, you probably can lead her round that back bottom right corner of Whittle Hall. And,
Are we all smiling? Are we excited about this?
It's up to you.
I mean, Tony is, but is John.
Oh yes, quite pleased at this point.
Okay. Yep.
Hmm.
Tony's heart's lilting just a little bit at all of us together, the camaraderie.
Well, I mean, John has not only just had a dance with the girl of his dreams, but he's about to ruin the cheating bastard's wedding,
Yeah.
which will allow him to rescue the girl of his dreams.
Tony just thinks this is good fun. Like, I don't think he's really had the chance. Like, it's been a while since he has had the chance to just like have a boys' adventure and just do something ridiculous without having to be cool about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it is that kind of adventure, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Neither one of you is expecting Tony to hit on you, and it's just fun to be like friends with somebody.
Yeah. Yes, it's true, and there is a joyous thought about the fact that we're going to do something really, really horrible, and yet, unless something goes really catastrophically wrong, there should be no fatalities.
No.
We'll roll some dice about that.
Of course. Yeah. So yes, we're going to start. Just like form an honor guard each side of the pig, so trot it along on its trotters.
Yeah, like the Secret Service after the president. when he's
Exactly.
jogging.
Just so we keep steering it in the right direction.
Okie dokie. That seems reasonable. Are you, when you get up to the northern door of Whittle Hall, the servants' entrance, are you going to adjust your approach as they rush in and out a little between the two?
What are they going to do in the time it takes us to get to the tent? No, this is fun.
I think you've got a point, actually. They're not going to know what the hell's going on, but equally,
Why the fuck would they care?
it's not their problem really.
Well,
It's 3 wedding guests taking a pig for a walk.
in which case, Ewan, I want a roll as you going past this staff, because you're the one that would be strong arming the beast, if at all. I apologise to Sir Francis for calling her the beast so often. But, you know, poetic license. This is. Would you say this is a tricky task? Yeah, it's a tricky task that arouses suspicion. Or would you say it's an exciting, challenging gambit? What would you think?
I mean, I suppose it depends how drunk everyone is.
Yeah. When you
know.
say exciting, do you mean how we're approaching it?
Yeah, because we're approaching it as exciting.
Because for us,
Yeah.
it's exciting.
Okay.
We
And
just
the gambit, yes.
we just got really drunk, had a good meal, and then we like did some exercise.
Yeah.
So
We've been planning this for a long time.
And we're not really skulking around or anything, so I'm not sure it is a sort of suspicious moment. At least not for us.
Okay,
Yeah,
in which
They,
case-
like,
they
this
may
is-
treat it as suspicious, but we're
this is
just
it.
having
This
fun.
is the moment.
This is the fun bit.
okay.
This is where the really like pounding music would be playing at the end of the movie.
Yes.
This is our triumph.
Mm.
In which case, Ewan, could you roll a d8 for me, please?
Okay.
So success is kind of easier, but disaster is worse, if that makes sense.
It's-
Because
Okay.
it's blasé right now.
yeah, sure. That's a 7 though.
Okay, and hit me with a d20, please.
That's a 16.
Okay, hopefully then that's your sheer hubris, the sheer joy that you've gone past them. They, you know, sometimes when you're trying to not be suspicious, you come across as more suspicious.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
fact that you're literally just jogging along with a pig works.
Looking really happy.
Without
just
caring in the world.
works in your positive. They don't know what's going on. For all they know, it's part of the thing, you know. But one of them sort of looks at another and says, "I didn't realise we've got a hog roast tonight." and he was talking to Steve, of course, our friend Steve, and Steve sort of laughs and looks at you and sort of looks at you a bit funny, and sort of gives you a nod. You all right there?
Oh, yeah. Perfect. Thanks.
And they go back to come on, get the umbrella back over me, man. I'm getting wet. And they carry on to their thing. Good roll, by the way,
Oh, thanks.
It was a good roll.
It was the dice.
Ewan.
The dice have spoken. The dice want Henry to
That's
suffer.
what it to happen. So you go around. You said you were going around the back of the maze. Was that the plan?
Yeah, well, the weird thing is, having breezed past them so simply, I don't think we're going to need to, are we?
You want to go
No.
straight past?
Unless
the
it's
point?
really busy. You know, like unless
Yeah,
the whole wedding's
I
finished
think
raining.
we should go round and as we pass the back of the house, we should cast a glance across at the loos. If there are people clustered around there, then yes, around the maze first probably. But if there aren't, let's just pig in a barrel.
There
Yeah.
appears you're looking from the wrong side of the loos, of course, but there's
Yeah.
no one clustered around it as it stands.
Then I get the feeling there's no time like the present.
Okay. If you're all agreed, you trot the pig through.
Everyone up for that?
Yeah.
Rather than sort of sneak the pig into the shed and then make a short-term dash for it, let's just rely on the fact that the weather's foul and people aren't going to be outside unless they have to be, and we've got momentum.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Makes sense.
As you jog past, one of the serving girls turns to you and half jokingly says, "Do I want to be going where you're going?"
Like, give it a minute and a half.
she stops. Her friend shrugs and pulls out their pack of cigarettes. They
I should have paid their serving staff.
they
Someone say.
all they read is it's getting a bit wet, of course, but they can just about read Penn used motors on one side, just assuming it's some sort of stunt. I guess. As you get
This
to
is so
the-
exciting.
as you get to the edge of the loos, a door opens, and I know it's very thrilling.
A cat comes out.
It's it adds out staggers Deanna Smythe. So I would like I don't know, Ben, could you roll me a, because she's going to turn to you and blearily look at you and go, what? A pig? I need you to roll a d10 for me, Ben. It's the riskiest you can get moment.
Oh, D10.
D10.
But she hates them too.
Well,
That's a 3.
okay, hit me with a d20, please.
This is suddenly feeling bad. We've been doing well with high rolls, haven't we?
Yeah.
16
On the d20 or overall?
on the D20, so
Right.
19 total.
Okie dokie. I'm not going to update the tracks because. So she says, "Is that a pig? What you got a pig for?"
Say, you're gonna love it, and just keep going.
Good and accurate answer.
She sort of cackles and sort of trips down the stairs and staggers after you. And yeah, so she's following after you. Good roll, by the way, because that could have
That could have gone horribly wrong, could it?
that could have drawn something. So
Okay.
okay,
All right. So we are now essentially at the service entrance door, aren't we?
you are.
Okay. That one's still pinned open.
Yep.
So we're going to go straight in.
Tony's gonna actually do the perimeter and start sealing up
Yeah.
some tent.
So if Tony wants to do the essentially, I'll keep the pig calm and happy, tucked away in the food prep area.
Mm-hmm.
He'll be really fast. There's zip ties.
Yeah. If Tony can do a lap of the space, and Graham wants to be inside, doesn't he?
Yeah. So Graham will, unless you need any help
No,
until
I'm
it
all set.
all begins.
There's
you
zip
will be-
ties. There's zip ties.
Yeah. I think when it
This is
comes
a
to
mu- this is a
motivating the
magician.
pig, I think when it comes to motivating the pig, not only can I get it probably moving in the right direction, but then I do have an enormous number of party poppers.
That's ironic.
stuff.
We all
considering
do. We empty the table.
You're the party poopers with the party poppers.
Exactly.
With
Yeah.
the picky pooper.
The Canuck first.
Mm.
So, yes, that's the plan.
Yeah. So Graham will head in, and he'll head to the northeast corner. I suppose that's the least likely direction the pig will go. Who knows? It's quite random, but it's not directly in front of the entrance.
Indeed. I mean, whichever. I mean, the pig's randomness will be. I don't know. I'm looking at the layout, and I'm aware that not all the tables are sort of there anymore. But I'm imagining one of those pinball machines with the pig just bouncing off all the circles.
At this point, I'm really just hoping Sir Francis doesn't get hurt.
Oh yes, yes. I mean,
Yeah.
Got an
ultimately,
affection for the old girl.
ultimately, she is the one we all actually care about.
Yes.
Yeah, except obviously for the love of my life. But that's beside the point.
And Bilbo.
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel a bit for Jack, but it's probably the booze.
Excellent. So that's the plan. We're splitting up at this point.
Okie dokie. You've told the serving staff to give it a minute, so no one is following you. They're sort of clustered around, gossiping. You can see they're sort of through that hatch. They're like, what's going on? Two of them, Steve and his mate, and the girl, like, I don't know what this is. Is this like a joke, like a gift or something like this? So it's got advertising on it. It's supposed to be something viral. They're sort of
Just going to
away.
gently close the curtains that lead to the outside.
Oh, the electricity.
Yep, okie dokie. Tony has ziplocked the top one by the toilets. Were you going to do the bar? We could do the bar door, Tony, as well.
All of them. Just make a lap.
Okay, works his way around.
Anywhere the curtains might split, zip, zip, zip.
Cool. Works his way around. There's no one out there. It's pouring down with rain. So
he's incredibly uncomfortable, and he knows how bad his suit looks. But I think replacing it is going to be worth it. It might be hard getting a cab home, but
so as Tony works his way around, ziplocking, sort of pulling all of them shut. John and Graham are in there with the gently snorting pig. It's there, and it's all set up, and it all seems okay. The music is playing, nice bit of swing music, a bit jazzy. They move on to a couple of pop classics, and they're in. You can hear people. There's a lot of singing, a lot of dancing. It sounds like someone's trying to do some Russian dancing. Because you're hearing from the Rugby Boys, oi, 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 and thud as someone falls over. Cheers.
I give it just a moment.
Deanna leans over your shoulder. She says,
Can Graham have his phone out, just pretending like he's taking some photos, but he's set it to record?
Sure, people do that at weddings.
So yeah, Graham's gone to the top right, hasn't he? So he's sort of he's sort of nosing in like he would be. You look over and Bilbo raises his glass to you, his dear friend, from across the bar. Dear friend.
And as this moment is happening, I'm gently pulling open the interior partition, giving Sir Francis a good slap on her backside. And as she starts to move, grabbing all of the strings on the party poppers and yanking right behind her backside.
Oh.
As Deanna's almost like doing that thing, running behind you, swinging the arm, going, yeah, falling in behind.
I know I like Diana.
And everything slows to slow motion. The scene. The first person to turn around and notice anything is young Camilla Wellington Smythe, the young bridesmaid, who turns around, her eyes triple in size, and she dives for the nearest table underneath the thing. She's spotted what's going on. And one by one, the faces turn round as this wild pig comes in, half covered in party streamers. I want you to imagine in your minds Enya's Orinoco Flow. Okay? There's this little wild pig. As it goes charging through the hole. As the band sort of dive for cover, carried like the drummers behind the drums so much. The singer's not noticed. The singer's still trying to sing. One by one, people are turning. I think Reckless Ronnie Reinhardt had been starting to try it on with Debbie Thumper Clough. He'd sort of leaned in for the big kiss. She wasn't too keen, and as he leant in, he's the first one to go. He's caught straight in his legs are taken out.
Straight in the bread roll.
By surprise, he crashes straight to the ground in pain, ridiculously sprawled on the floor. As he goes, everyone's still turning around. Whoa! There's sort of guests charging under the tables, over the tables, glasses been thrown and dropped everywhere. A couple run for the entrance, the other side of the stage, and are tugging at it and can't get out. The usher, Nicholas Thresher, he's given up his role. He's trying to get out, and the pig takes him out, crashes him into the side, and he crumples. The Wilf Huckleton, he seems to be, he's deep in prayer in the corner. He's desperately in prayer. Jenny Carmichael, she paused and she's taking photos, so she knows where money's available. She's shocked. Sail away, sail away, sail away. William Weston wingback is standing on a table. He's torn his shirt open. He's like, yeah. He's gone feral, that guy. I don't know what happened to him.
It's not surprising.
Clark Merriweather's trying to shield his wife from the pig and taken away. They're both knocked over. They're sprawling to the ground. Bilbo's looking at his drink. His cigar stuck in his mouth. So it drops out as he opens his mouth. It drops to the ground. It's carnage. People are like charging for the exits. They can't get out. The pig is doing laps, desperately trying to work out what's going on.
In the midst of all this, I'm going to appear next to Debbie and hold up my hand and say, "Come with me if you want to live."
The music changes. Love, lift us up where we belong.
Wedding classic.
She turns to you confused and shocked, and she takes your arm as you lead her out through the.
I'm going to head her back out through the food prep area. Yes.
The mountains high. Oh, lift us up where we belong.
Because this has easily exceeded my expectations. I don't need to see the rest of the cleanup.
I think Tony's gonna come in after John leaves with Debbie.
Yes.
Find Jack wherever he is.
You can't see him. You look and Jack's nowhere to be seen. Not
Oh,
easily
no.
anyway.
Well, he'll give a good look, and he can't find Jack.
Can't find Jack.
So he'll just kind of shrug his shoulders and go back to the kitchen.
There are a lot of people carrying under tables and such like.
Well, he had a chance. He had a chance for an apology, and he wasn't in sight. So
Yeah. Also, to be fair, you're now going to be the absolute star of the video that Graham's making, because in the middle of all this carnage, there's going to be someone who walks in, looks around, goes, huh, and turns around and walks back out again.
yes,
And finally, Graham gets his money shot where the pig, she charges into the cake that had been placed there,
Oh.
big wedding cake, knocking it over. And Hermione stood there with Henry, and she's like, "My cake!" And it crashes down on them both, covering them both in cake.
He'll walk
What
forward
a
and
mess.
zoom out, zoom in at the same and get the.
As Sir Francis starts feasting on the cake on them, snuffling away over the two of them, covering them in the dirt, in the wet, in the cake, the two of them. Henry's trying to stand up. His feet can't make it on the floor. You know, it's a dance floor anyway, and the cake's made it all wet and slippery in the mud, and he falls over again. And reckless Ronnie crawls over to try and rescue him, but he can't either. It's this big, muddy, cakey mess with Deanna cackling in the background. And she grabs some cake and she winks at Camilla, the younger sister, and they just start throwing cake at people randomly.
Nice. Can Graham just make sure he zooms in on the side of the pig at the end of that says Penn used motors, and then he'll stop recording and see if he can grab a couple of 3 bottles of partially drunk wine or something on the way out for him and his
Yeah, for sure. For
his
sure.
conspirators.
Yes. I'm imagining this scene of the marquee with screams and yells, and there's sort of occasional bumps against it as people try to escape, and sort of in the foreground, just walking towards camera. I've got a bottle of wine in one hand, and Debbie's hand in the other, and we're just driving off.
Into the sunset.
And we end it there, I guess, on a scene of three, three scenes, I guess.
Mhm.
We end it with John walking off and down the drive towards the gate with Debbie and a half-drunk bottle of wine. We've got Graham with contentment in his face, stood at the entrance to the tent, the food prep, with Bilbo, who's very drunk and very cackly, and he's sort of they're sharing a drink, and even though it's his own daughter's wedding, and that for Graham, his last scene is where he presses post on the video.
Perfect.
And Tony looks around at a room full of cake and mud-covered X's, but the one man he couldn't find. And he wanders out and down the drive. And we cut to the next morning where a lot of the cleanup process is underway. The poor old staff are out there wiping it all down. You know, there's a couple of people that sort of, the last one's moving away. They're sort of very upset about it all. The Henry and Hermione nowhere to be seen, of course. But Clark is there, having to write quite a large check to the house for the nonsense that's gone on. And the last thing we hear from the middle of the maze is Jack's voice. Hello, anybody? What's going on? Anybody?
Oh, that's perfect.
And then we fade to black there with a close-up of the pig's face.
That was glorious. Thank you, Luke.
Oh, thank you.
That was indeed. That was perfect.
Oh, after all
What
those
a good game.
it was silly, wasn't it? Silly. Thank you three, for being so perfect for it.
Well, no, thank you very
Any
much.
opportunity you want to give me to be petty and pretend I'm not being, I'm here for you.
All in the name of art.
Yeah.
That's what we're calling it. Yep.
Oh, thank you, Kelly. So, thank you, guys, and thank you those that watched it through. Really appreciate it. What a wedding!
Yeah.
Eh? Your next step on the pig suspicion track was about 15 or 16, and it's where someone goes, "Look, it's a pig," but not in a way like those did. They were like, "Don't care."
Right.
You know,
Okay.
it'd been like someone could have been like, "It's a pig." You know,
We all
it's
did
okay.
look really happy though.
You did look very happy, joyous.
If anybody was going to make art of this episode, it would have to be the three of us running, like escorting this pig, looking ridiculously
pouring
happy
rain.
in our drenched
Totally
suits,
drenched out.
Indeed.
pockets bulging with poppers.
Maybe Graham's still holding a whiskey in one hand as he's doing it.
Yes.
It's just full of water. It's been watered down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well done, you guys.
Yeah.
Good success. Good plotting. Great success on getting it done.
Yeah, and it's nice for me. I almost get to be a hero rather than a villain all the time, as I always do as a GM.
That is true. You were very heroic, it must be said.
You were heroic as
yeah.
goblins too. You just weren't very successful at being heroic.
That's true. Yes.
Yes.
Nice one.
No, that was enormous fun and exactly the right kind of pick for us, Luke. We are desperately silly on our very best day.
That's true. We're desperately silly, that's for sure.
Yeah. Definitely.
Cool. Well, thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Lurkers. Thank you, anyone that's around. And is still around. Thank you to you, Vodders, if you caught up on the second half. We appreciate that because it's a 6-hour investment in time, the 2 parts. I think it's worth it. It was good fun. That's
What does
short-
the time recommendation on the game say?
nearly as long as a wedding?
We don't have
That.
to talk about that.
Well,
Just
come
for a
on,
comparison.
It's 2.
Sorry.
yeah, if anyone wants to play this game, I believe it's a 1 to 2 hour game.
No,
It's a 1 to 2 hour game. Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I'm a bit worried about the other games I want to play in here. Dog,
You know,
Hero,
to be
Hero
honest,
Dog Saves Town.
That does fit like a wedding, though. I think Ewan's right. You know, everything that has to happen at a wedding, you could easily fit into 45 minutes, and yet it takes days.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, it fits. It definitely fits the theme.
I think it might have been a little bit of a shorter game if all of us hadn't insisted that we were desperately in love with somebody, worked with several somebodies, and needed to include this in the wedding.
Love is what makes weddings longer, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
And worthwhile,
Together.
apparently.
To be fair, I suspect it's what makes marriages longer, so why not weddings as well?
That is very true. Wiser words have never been spoken. Right, on that bombshell, I need to go to bed. I don't know about the rest of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll need a bit of
Chill out time.
warm down, if you know what I mean,
Yeah.
before actual bed. But yeah, I think it's time for me to call it a night.
Fantastic. Thank you, everyone. Tomorrow is our last of our 4-day working week on Boys of the Baltic Star, which is Spooky Sunday, where I'm playing part 2 of Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice. Thank you, Kate. Thank you. Which is great game. Really thematic, really beautiful. Very invested in it already. About 10 minutes in, Ben was like, of everyone we've ever had a game of, she needs to survive.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
even more than Sam in
Until Dawn.
Wait Until Dawn. Yeah, that
Yeah.
one. Even more than Sam, I think
So-
this is the one you've got to keep alive.
Okay, I'll do my best.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, well, so we'll hopefully see some of you on Sunday nights. Otherwise, thank you, Sparrow. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ewan. And thank you, everyone else.
Thank you. Yes.
We wrecked
Thank
a
you,
wedding.
everyone.
Hooray!
Yes.
Well done.
I'm not at all inspired to do that again in real life.
Right, see you all. Goodbye. Thank you.
Good night.
Right.
Right, no.